federal funding on police brutality. I told you that. Obama doesn't have any new ideas like that. Man wanted to make others, at his own expense, happy. Please do not use the N-word in our show. I appreciate that. We have a zero tolerance for racism, despite people calling me a racist. I don't know why they call me a racist. They just don't have a sense of humor, I guess. Satire never occurred to them. These are the scumbags that live in the Democratic enclaves, hiding behind their prejudiced views. Prejudice against anybody who's white. Even they themselves are white. They're prejudiced against white people.
Hey, Sunstar. Hey, Josh. Wow, seems like it's been a long time.
I don't like Barack either,
Josh.
and I'm not a racist, trust me. Thank you for not liking Barack with me. Let's all hold hands and sing Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya. Yeah, here we go. Kumbaya, my Lord, I don't like Barack. Oh, Lord, Kumbaya. I don't like Barack, my Lord, I don't like Barack. Oh, Lord. Dave, I'm going to come to your house and beep, beep. Do we have another death threat? Can he make you a pot of tea? Thank you. Don't come to my house and don't make me a pot of tea. I live in a very secret place, far below the surface of the earth. Yes, I secured my secret place in my mind, in the garden of my mind, a long time ago.
Testing, 1, 2, 3. I don't know if this microphone actually works over here.
Maybe it's not plugged in. Let's see.
You think it might not be plugged in?
I'm looking for the cord. Yeah, it's plugged in. Okay. Testing, 1, 2, 1, 2. It works on StreamUp, but it doesn't work on the other.
Here.
Let's not use it on. Let's use the USB, like the C212. Let's use that. That picks up off the mic up here. Breaker, 19er. Breaker. Bring the audio level up on it too. When you go to the controls. Yep. Breaker, 19er. 1, 2, 1, 2. It doesn't want to move. There we go. 1, 2. Okay, now that's better. That's clipping. 1, 2, 1, 2. Right there. Perfect. Dave lives in the middle of the earth, deep in Mordor. No, I'm making a good-looking couple. Thank you.
No, I didn't check the audio over here.
10-4 on that, good buddy. I think we're good on. I don't know. It usually comes in over there.
Yeah, I guess so.
1, 2. I see it right there on the bottom. See, it's a direct mic. So see how it clips. 1, 2, 1, 2. Thank you. LOL, baby. So I hope you're having a wonderfully technologically advanced life. Because if you aren't, you need to start buying some software and hardware. I'm sure many of you have already purchased a Note or some sort of a tablet. I mean, they're down to $69 now at various stores, box stores. You can get them for $69. Using the Android operating system, the Jelly Bean operating system, you can pretty much do anything for free, including play slot machines. I mean, there's all kinds of games out there. Well, let's be clear. Is getting Twitter abuse? Zelda Williams is hardly alone. So Zelda Williams is getting Twitter abuse. Some people are being slammed in the media. I know. It's tough being in the media. I don't even know what Saran is. Could you explain? Is that like a type of Saran wrap? Yes, 1377. Bert, I'm going to have to ban you if you keep this up. You know that these are bannable offense, talking about sex like this. This is a very highbrow, stiff upper lip show. Anyone referring to the carnality of sexuality must go into another room. This is strictly for politics. I can't wait to get my new look. My facial recognition surgery should be amazing. Yeah. I'm hoping to just, get that completely different look going come October 31st, that's for sure. I decided not to go with melanin injections. I was toying with the idea. I found Maybelline makes a dream makeup that has a kind of a soft brown tint to it, very similar to Barack Obama's skin tone. I said I bit into a sausage and it had a bone in it. Okay, what about that do you not understand? I mean, haven't you ever bitten into a hot dog with a beef byproduct bone in it? You laughing every time I say that. You guys are so perverted. You can't sue anybody, that's the whole point. called the USDA. Well, sir, it's typical for beef products to have small calcium products. There's bones in beef products. I called the guy at the USDA, and he actually read out of the manual, green meat is wholesome meat. He said that. Green meat is wholesome meat.
Wholesome.
I've never seen green meat that's wholesome. I said that the local retailer was selling bones in the sausages and green meat in the discount section. Well, it's wholesome meat, sir. Not yet, Concordie. Wheat is not legal in the United States yet. Only in some states you can get a medicinal license for $250 a year, or you can live in this state of Washington or Colorado and have under an ounce. It's not quite legal the way we want to make it legal. We want to make it legal across the board. Well, let's be clear. Barack Obama has smoked marijuana most of his adult life, yet he can't bring himself to legalizing it on a national level. That, to me, calls him a hypocrite. Okay? He is a hypocrite. Yes, Kenny, a lot of things have happened. We've been gaining all kinds of new notoriety among the young population here at Vaughn and at Battle Camp. And are we broadcasting at Battle Camp as well?
Yes.
We're also in Hangout. And
we're broadcasting everywhere.
We're broadcasting everywhere.
Almost everywhere. There's a few sites that we're not on. But I'm actually on iBlog and our Google Hangouts and Battle Camp and Ustream and ublog.
Awesome. You're awesome. You made it all happen. And StreamUp too? Wow, you're amazing. That deserves a back rub. No, not for me, just for you. You get to enjoy it. Yes, of course, we want to step on Monsanto's tippy toes. What I want to do is invoke...
I didn't know they had genetically engineered weed.
They're trying to do that in Washington. They're trying to genetically engineer the THC to be lower than a standard. What's the point of growing weed if it doesn't get you high? I mean, that's how completely out of it the people in Washington State are. I'm so glad I didn't win the local race, because I know I would have run head-on into a bunch of corrupt Democrats and corrupt Republicans who literally want to profit from this whole thing but don't even know how. They don't even know. I know it'll help the economy, but tell that to the Washington State legislation that tells people that they have to pay a 25% tax if you grow it, a 25% tax if you distribute it, and a 25% tax if you retail it. So basically everybody who buys it pays 3 times more than they should, roughly. 2 to 3 times more than they should. So legalizing marijuana will help the economy. I totally agree. Moonlight says he ruined my life and he's letting abortions go on and he's going into gay, lesbian, and making me so sick, Davey. I know, Moonlight. Barack Obama has ruined my life too. He destroyed all the business I had with his laws, and he killed our real estate industry, basically shutting down a market. I'm also blaming Bush, of course. I blame Bush and Obama. I never liked Bush, and I certainly didn't like Obama. He's the same kind of guy. I'm tired of it. A lot of you Democrats are coming in here. Let me give you a good feel-good hug, all right? Hang on. Let me give everybody a hug. It's okay to dislike Barack Obama. It's okay. You're among friends now. Even if you were a Democrat and voted for him.
I thought I was getting a hug for something else.
Oh, what were we hugging for? Huh. You don't dislike Barack Obama. She actually doesn't really care.
I like you.
Thanks. Well, I went out there on a limb in 2008 because I didn't get anybody's response in the media. The mainstream media wouldn't even give us a wink. We couldn't even get 15 seconds of fame, let alone 15 minutes. From 2015, weed, heroin, cocaine will be at least at all 7-Elevens. Yeah, Concordie, maybe. You never know. I don't want to legalize all drugs right away unless 2/3 of the majority of the country want to do it. If we want to get together and do that, we can all do that if you really want to get people to do this. You have to actually talk to people, though. You can't just live in your own house. The police are out of control, I agree. I know. Well, we used to be rich, Concordie, but the Democrats and Republicans don't understand how to build American jobs, so legalizing weed is the right step toward building people's grow centers in their home. And then anybody who sells it would pay a 25% maximum tax. That's it. That'll help the market. Everyone will be happy. You know, if you buy a 10-pack of blunts, you're not going to be too upset about paying an extra $5 to Uncle Sam. I mean, look at this guy. Does he look like he needs to get high or what? Boy, that's really bright. No, Josh, did you go to any place nice? I couldn't afford to go. Bert could get me some TV airtime. Thanks, Bert. Go ahead and run all your show on TV for you. You can pipe our show directly onto a channel if you really want to buy some. Just don't tell me about it. Yeah, you could actually run our show 24/7 on a major network if you had serious cash. As long as I don't know about it, you can do whatever you want to promote us. Similarly, the Supreme Court ruled with Citizens United that a corporation could run a hate campaign against me if they wanted to. Okay, Bert, you're some sort of a pornographer, or what's your deal? Dave, what is your position on lowering the restrictions on cocaine? It's great for toothaches. I've talked to my dentist about using Procaine, a derivative of cocaine, and he uses it to numb the teeth, So yeah, Procaine might be a over-the-counter possibilities, sure. A lot of you are going to be suffering from massive toothaches that the doctors won't be able to help because of the massive radiation and Ebola that's going to be spreading throughout the country. So yeah, why not make cocaine of that type, Procaine, over the counter? Absolutely. Good point. Anything to alleviate the pain and suffering of the rampant radiation and the spread of Ebola. Are you one of those people that believes that there's somehow synthesizing vaccines and it's causing problems? I think Ebola could be really bad. Yes, absolutely. They brought Ebola patients into the country recently. The CDC did. Yes, we can focus on all the issues. Why don't you give me a laundry list of issues I'll talk about, guest 879, and I'll just answer each question. Make them short, 3 or 4 4-word questions, and I'll just go for it. Life's what I make it. Tonight I do what I want. Okay. Yeah, I think Ebola is a real problem. Pass my answers on. Use them as your own. I'm here to serve. I make up fun words. I talked about Barack Obama's shield of blackness last week, and everyone thought that was funny. I make up little things that people can use around the internet and claim they belong to them. I mean, it doesn't even matter. Using the shield of blackness is what he's using. Eric Holder is using it as well. They evade questions by the media using the shield of blackness. I'm developing a shield of blackness for my Barack Obama's show. So anytime someone asks me during the show a question I can't answer, I'm just going to put up the shield of blackness. You'll see. Put that on the laundry list of things I have to make, props I need to make. I also want like a big desk, like an actual desk in the White House kind of thing. I want to sit in the back here. I'm going to open up the green screen, pull it back. Might even have a bigger green screen so I can get up and dance around because I want to do some skits. I want to get down and boogie. Get down on it. Yeah. Get down on it. I want to get a backbeat. I'm going to get a drum machine too for the Barack Obama's video. I'm going to do some sort of a drum thing. Do a little back rhythm. All right. A shield of stupidness? Excuse me? You're talking to a person with 185 IQ. How dare you? I've forgotten more than you'll Cradle to grave. Are we in slow chat, or are you people are just like not able to communicate here? Assembled in the USA, yeah. You know that when Toyota first entered the market with their pickup trucks, because I used to own a Toyota Corolla back in 1971. That was one of the first cars I had. I wish I could find with what you are saying fault. You're not. You're not finding fault. Thanks, Abnormal. Finally, you realize I'm here for you. Anyway. I used to have a Toyota, and I found out that Toyota pickups used to come to the country with the pickup in bed, you know, the pickup section, just a little bit bigger and lifted up with a cardboard in between it, with an open bolt on both sides. They basically built the whole thing in Japan, and then they sent it over, and someone hooked up the bolt and lodged the pickup bed onto it, and they called it assembled in the United States, and they saved a lot of taxes doing that. You had a Corolla back in the day? Cool. 30 miles per gallon, I remember that, yeah. Well, they're called foreign economic zones. The products are made here, but by imported Chinese nationals. Well, I don't like that, Guess 1377. It's deceptive. Do you remember when Walmart used to say everything was made in America? I mean, they actually got away with selling things made in America that were actually produced in other countries for years. The most deceptive advertising in U.S. history, I think. It's up there with the Camel. You know, that Joe Camel guy that looked like a penis? You remember him? Anybody of you remember Joe Camel? This is off topic, but I met the guy that came up with the ad campaign of Joe Camel, or at least he said he did. And he said that they literally used a picture of a penis to make his nose. Seems everything at the Dollar Tree is from China, even a lot of the foods now. Yeah, Guess 384. Yeah, it seems like almost everything in the Dollar Tree just assimilated. General Dollar, I believe, or Family Dollar for $7 billion. I mean, they're making money hand over fist, even with these huge markdowns. It's amazing. Oh, really? Oh, no. Well, he probably left her with emphysema, too. Joe Camel lured a lot of young people into smoking cigarettes, and they're probably still smoking, thinking Joe Camel's out there. Yeah. There's no way I'd trust imported Chinese anything at this point, yeah. I don't buy Chinese anything. If I see Chinese produced on it, I stop purchasing it. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, 215. Yeah, see, I figured she did. Or you're making that up just to get a reaction from the room. Nice try. Gosh, it's just... Okay, Iraq's Prime Minister Maliki has stepped aside, and he's backing the replacement in Iraq. This is probably a good move. It opens up an opportunity for Iraq to kind of make a transition to a new government, possibly. Maybe lower the amount of violence and aggression going on. But Prime Minister Maliki actually asked for support in 2010 from Barack Obama, and Obama turned him down. Haider al-Abadi is seen as a far less polarizing figure that has a chance of uniting Iraq's Sunni insurgents who have been capturing large parts of the country in the north and west. So this new guy, Haider al-Abadi, is much less polarizing. Okay, let's go down and read a little bit more of the article. Caving in to relentless pressure at home and abroad to step aside, Nouri al-Maliki dropped his bid for a third term as Prime Minister of Iraq on Thursday and pledged support for his replacement, moderate Shiite Haider al-Abadi. Appearing on the state television flanked by Abadi and other Shiite politicians, a grim-faced Maliki spoke of the grave terrorist threat from the Sunni Islamic State militants before giving up his fight to stay on. Thank you. Au revoir, Mr. Maliki. All right. Let's see what happens in Iraq. We'll see if... Thank you, Charles. I'm working on my pronunciation. We'll see what happens as a result of Barack Obama's finally doing what I suggested he do about 6 to 8 weeks ago, a surgical strike. I saw that they're making man-made eggs. I think that's so freaky. I heard they're also making... Monsanto or some organization is making chicken for chicken nuggets for McDonald's They're making it in Petri dishes. Talk about technological advances. I don't know if we need these kind of technological advances. I mean, seriously, folks. Let's be clear. I mean, a lot of people are just going, hey, man, I just want to kick back and enjoy life, you know, kind of like this person. See? She doesn't have to worry about anything. I don't prefer to do impressions. I'd want to talk about the technology that's coming soon. I don't think Granny cares much about technology. I remember I met a lady who looked just like that in Compton when I delivered T-shirts to this Baptist church once. And lo and behold...
The search for petroleum never ends. It goes on around the clock and around the globe. Yet as the world's population approaches 7 billion and more players enter the global economy, demand for fuel is growing at an unprecedented rate. If we do nothing, the cost of the fuel we need to heat our homes, drive our cars, fly our planes, and power our industries will continue to increase.
And exactly what we want to do is add a thing called hempoline to the mix. Part of our technological advancement, believe it or not, is old-fashioned. It's adding hempoline to a list of things we want to create to make our nation a lot better. So I'm pro-legalization, pro-hempoline. And you can talk about that tonight on Technology Thursday if you want. David, are you selling? No, they are selling weed, but right now they're not selling much. I couldn't get any less. It's $25 a gram. I'm going to call and find out what Rainbow wants to charge for marijuana in our area. Okay, thank you. You got to fight for your right to keep your freedoms. Good point, man. I agree. Yeah, they're not selling weed at a good rate because DJ Stingy, they're charging too much. They're charging a 25% tax on every layer of the production, distribution, and sales. So there's no way they're going to be able to make a lot of money doing that. People aren't going to buy it. They're going to go to the black market. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
Hey, Bunny TV. Okay.
What do you mean weed makes you paranoid and unsociable?
Sound is lagging. You're welcome, Bunny TV.
Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean people aren't following you. You're more gabby when you're on drinking.
It's going to be 20 gigabytes by 2020.
In the year 2020, we'll have 20 gigabytes in our bathroom.
I can try changing the microphone. I can see that it's lagging because the microphone's a little bit away from us.
Let's go ahead and change the microphone and go to the board microphone from this computer. This is the Microsoft board. Let's right down here, this real high definition one.
This one?
That's the stereo mix. That'll work. Testing. 1, 2. No, that doesn't work. Go to the other one. Testing. Go to the bottom one, like you said originally. The bottom one. No, that's the USB mic. That's the one. Let's try that. Testing. 1, 2. Testing. No, that's not coming in at all. Let's go back to the USB mic. Just out of curiosity. Testing. 1, 2. Testing. Max it out. Max out the volume. Testing. 1, 2. Yeah, there you go. 1, 2. Oh yeah, look at the volume spike there. That is picking up the mic. It just wasn't set high enough. Okay, you tell us if it's a Bunny TV. You tell us if it's coming in good on iPod.
Well, I know the video is lagging, but that's because should I drop out of StreamUp?
Yeah, StreamUp is not necessary right now. Is anybody in the StreamUp show? Go ahead and check a look. Yeah, well, let's drop off StreamUp right now. We usually only go on StreamUp whenever Ed comes into the show.
It sounds fine, she said. Okay.
Oh, good, good. Okay, great. Because that's a dynamic mic we spent $31 on that's like worth a couple hundred in my mind. No, we're not changing the name of the show. I am running for president. Kenny, I'm running for president. I'm going to purge what you said, Kenny. You don't even know that I'm running for president. Okay. Poor Kenny doesn't know I'm running for president, Sarah.
I know.
Yeah, let me get something in there to help him understand what we're doing here. A lot of people are like Kenny. They don't realize that I'm still running for president in 2016.
Oh, I should probably put a...
Well, I'm going to put my banner up here in the corner,
Okay,
and Technology Thursday can be up, you know, on the other way.
okay, sounds good.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome. So Malachi's stepping down, Sarah, and a guy's coming in who's more of a moderate, less divisive, possibly will reach out to the Sunni rebels to calm them down in Iraq. We'll see if that helps. No, I don't tell anyone
David doesn't tell me what to wear.
wear.
I chose to wear this turtleneck because it actually was a little rainy yesterday and a little bit like that. You pay $300 a month for 12 megabytes, 1 megabyte a second, so it downloads.
Wow, that's amazing. That's a ripoff.
That is a ripoff
Well,
for
you're
the
really
price.
ripped off.
Yeah.
Optical, or is that fiber optics?
Wait. You only get. Have you tried Bunny TV? You've gone to speedtest.net and saw what your speeds are. 300 a month? I can't even believe that. I don't pay that much for my
So I want to show everybody
internet.
we're rolling out some new signs, as you know.
It's the only thing they offer. Are there any competitors there? Oh, it's DSL.
It's DSL, yeah.
Maybe you should check into your local cable company.
No, top or down. We'll give you a warning or two, yeah. Okay, because our campaign was hijacked, sabotaged by the stealing of all my signs, or 50% of my signs, all my big signs, we've decided to revamp the new campaign, and I'm running up against Rick Larson. And I've restructured all my signs, and they'll all be going out soon. We're going for U.S. Congress, and I want people to remember my name. And I'm going to be running lots of TV commercials to talk about how I was robbed of my second position and how they cheated. All my competitors took my signs and cheated against me. So I'm taking these same signs that I still have, and I'm rebuilding them, and I'm putting them out in my area all the way to November. Plus, I'm including big signs. I'm going to be hitting the whole area, the entire district, with write-in David Sponheim signs to keep the name alive. And, you know, I might be running for U.S. House of Representatives in 2016 in Washington while I run for president across the nation. This is a campaign to keep the name alive and keep pushing, 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 never give in, and never allow cheaters to get an inch. Okay, so now you can see right here, I'm no longer a preferred Democrat, I'm a preferred independent, and the test worked. I proved that the Democrats and Republicans cheat. I proved that. And I'm going to be running these signs all over the area. People are going to still see my mug out there. And it's the whole purpose is to keep the message alive, and I don't like to throw things away. I'm more into recycling, and frankly, these signs are practically new, so why not keep using them? We'll be using painted signs. I've got large signs going out, way more than I had before, in anticipation of them stealing it, and I'll be putting high-tech video surveillance systems in place behind the woods where these signs are. They won't be able to detect them. I'll be watching everybody who steals my signs. I'm going out and buying some really high-end video surveillance cameras with backup battery systems, mini SD cards. The works. Never give up, and don't let the cheaters ever get an inch. Don't ever give them an inch. And if I can interrupt Rick Larson's campaign, and the other big posters say, "Stop Larson, save nature," and a lot of people will know what I'm talking about. No, these are local signs. I'm still running a local election, even though they pushed me out of second position in the local election for the state house. Now I'm running for the U.S. House of Representatives against the guy who's probably the most corrupt of all of them. Well, good luck finding my cameras. They're all camouflaged. Yeah, every one of them is really well camouflaged. I've got a whole thing worked up to do that. No, Sarah would never steal my signs.
So it's probably not on your end, Bunny TV, it's on my end.
We're trying to broadcast through I'd say we have about 2 to 3 megabyte per second uploads. So you're really fast over there at Bunny TV. You're downloading fast. So you're almost downloading too fast for us. She didn't steal your heart, Topper Dan. You just haven't met the right lady who's just like Sarah. That's your problem. She's out there, man. I can sense it. I feel for you. Would you like me to help you do some online dating, Topper Dan? Yeah, maybe I can give you some tips. I do consulting in this area if you'd like. Maybe I could find you a perfect mate. God, this guy really is over the top. I've erected a deck. What? I want you to bow out.
Yeah, we have put in a deck before.
I've put in a deck, yes. I've got lots of decks. Wow. Some people are just fawning over you now. It's just almost pathetic. I wouldn't doubt he's like drooling at this point. Yeah, walk up to a lady in the library and say you have a cute nose.
I think you could cast now, Bunny TV. Let me see what my speed test is.
You want to try casting with her?
No.
Oh. Well, you should cast, Bunny TV. Yeah.
She's upset because her upload is only 1 megabyte per second, but her download is 12 megabytes per second.
Well, you're paying $300 a month and you're getting a download of 12 and an upload of 1? That's not right. You're getting ripped off. Folks, are you getting at least 1.5 megabyte uploads and 10 megabyte downloads? That's the average now among cable modems.
Oh, my download is, wow.
You're downloading at 16 megabytes. 17 megabytes. It's awesome. I would recommend, Bert, I would recommend that you try to keep the dogs away from your yard. That's what's causing the yellow patches. Dogs' urine will do that to grass. You can put a lethal electric fence around your house if you want, like we did. Oh, I wasn't supposed to talk about that. Well, it's not exactly lethal. It just knocks you on your, seriously, on your butt.
My upload is only a little bit over 1.
Dave, do you ever hear Russell Crowe's pickup line, A Beautiful Mind? Classic. David Nation, you have become so bored in your own mind that you've found boredom everywhere you turn. Your lack of interest. Let me show you a woman who's not bored.
Wouldn't it be cool if they could just give us a fiber? We'll run it to our house ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, wouldn't it be great if they just run fiber to your house?
No, I'll give me the fiber. I'll run it. I'll connect all the lines and everything. I'll get up on the poles.
And that's a woman who's smoking a big blunt. I don't even think it's a woman. I think it's a guy dressed as a woman.
Yeah, for sure.
That made you laugh? Okay, good. At least we got a laugh out of you, for crying out loud. Most people have at least 25 down, 10 up. Exactly. Guest 808 says, David, your internet is slow. Well, I'm not most people. I'm living on a very fixed budget of under $50 a month for internet connections. David, would you ever debate Bill Clinton? I would. I would debate Bill Clinton from his hospital room if he really wanted me to. I could go by his deathbed and say, Bill, why did you lie to the people, Bill? Why did you do it, Bill? Bill would lose, yeah. I would explain to him that he was screwed. He had a lot of good ideas. No, Wild Debbie, I do not belong to any Mensa groups. I don't believe in the ostentatious.
Wild Debbie has a thing for you.
I know. I don't believe in being ostentatious, Wild Debbie.
It's okay, Wild Debbie. I don't mind.
I'm not here to brag. I only tell people I have 185 IQ because they ask me. But sometimes they call me dumb and I have to tell them. Other than that, I really don't want to make a big deal about it. It hasn't helped me that much in life except to solve all the world's problems and have the only toolkit for economic and political survival this nation will ever have. Other than that, I'm basically, wasting my mind. Other than saving the nation, I'm wasting my mind. Power J. Putin vows returning trove of documents would open Pandora's box. Historic Schneerson collection of writings will stay in Russia. Shabbat. Interesting. That's a seriously weird link you got there. Well, Topper Dan, I don't know if it's wrong for a president to be asked questions about him spewing all over his intern. I mean, seriously, his actions begged the scrutiny of politics. And in the court of public opinion, he basically was ruled guilty on all counts. I know, Dodo. Please don't react to the words as if they're allegories for your greater love with yourself. Younger generation doesn't remember Bill Clinton and his trail of death. Yes, if you guys want to look up the Clinton death count, you'll find out all about it. There's 47 people who have died, unexplainable deaths related somehow to the Clintons. I'm not saying Bill or Hillary did anything bad. It's just real weird. Very weird. I agree, Wild Debbie. So this is what a guy with a high IQ does. He takes something and makes the best of it. It used to say State House here, and I slapped this U.S. Congress on there, and I'm telling people to write me in because I didn't pay a $1,700 entrance fee into this coming Washington State general election. I only paid $420, and they won't even give me a chance to speak out in the pamphlet. Washington State is rigged against local third parties or independents. Basically, it's a two-party system, and they have a top two primary. So if you don't make the top two, you're out, meaning third parties are completely cut from the entire Washington State election. I mean, it's just such corruption. I can't even tell you. I had to spend the money to prove to you how corrupt this is. Sarah, you're getting a lot of people excited with your hair tonight. Oh, I know, a favorable rating. That's because people like to see guys have, you know, wild sex in the Oval Office. I don't think that's appropriate for a president, though. Well, I know I ran as a Democrat, you fool, simply because I wanted to test out and see how corrupt the Democratic Party was. As soon as I put my name in the running, they put this guy in there who didn't even put up signs, and he recently called me, and I can't tell you how terribly disappointed I was in the guy's voice. I'm expecting anybody to play fair at this point. I was a Democrat for 30 years. I can certainly put Democrat on there if I want. You can't tell me what to do. I didn't cheat. No, he's not working for you at all. I didn't like him. He's a stoolie that does whatever that he's told. The guy called me up and asked for an endorsement, and I said no. Excuse me, hell no. No, tossing Dave Salad. Simple logic tells me that the two-party system is going to tank someday, and I want to be there to help out. You know it and I know it. It's just a matter of time. Yeah, I talked to Nick. He called me on the phone. And he wanted an endorsement. I said, hell no. I don't expect people to even care about Nick. They're going to write my name in even though I'm not even running in that election. This thing clearly says U.S. Congress. There's a lot of people that'll think, hey, why don't we just write David in? You never know. So anything can happen to Nick. Frankly, I think the Republicans deserve a win in this election because of the behavior of the Democratic Party. You people should be ashamed of yourself. Pathetic how you sabotage my campaign. You really are despicable, and you're going to find out what it's like to lose in upcoming elections. Trust me. Thank you. Well, thanks for agreeing with me, 968. I appreciate it. We have an open platform. It's still under construction in so many different ways. I want Republican and Democratic input. Top or down, I'm not saying you sabotaged it. Somebody else did.
G5343, it might end soon.
Tossing Dave Salad, you've been a thorn in my side for years. Yeah. What does this mean that your name, Tossing Dave Salad, what does that mean?
You don't want to know.
Well, then why do I have a person in the room called Tossing Dave Salad if I don't want to know? Bert, you're insane. I'm going to ban you, and I'm going to ban Tossing. Now we'll get back to a show that we can talk with normal people who aren't in here trolling. My God, it's crazy. I'd rather have guests than these people who come in and make these insane accusations. What do you mean, no clue in reference to international issues? I've studied foreign policy for 35 years. Prison terminology? Wow. I see. I don't live in a prison. I've never committed a misdemeanor or a felony. Top or down, I'm going to copy that. Don't you think that's worth copying?
If you think so.
Well, I'm building a case against the guy. I mean, I'm going to have to take it to the FBI.
There's no case against any, whatever.
Well, I'm building a case against anybody who's stalking you, so don't worry. I got it. All right, thank you. I'm 54. I'm not 55 plus. Why? Guess 195.
Too many lies were never told, you think? 5-3, 4-3.
Too many lies were never told. Well,
5-1.
too many lies have been told, unfortunately. I was attacked by people in Los Angeles. That's true. You're a political marketing generalist, Power J? Okay, hang on. We got a dead one here. Hello. Notice how that guy came up as soon as Bert Henry was taken out, and so Tossy Dave Salad. They come up with America's Fifth Party. They have it all ready to go. Well, exactly what specific international view is 100% wrong? Could you be more specific? Because you're making a blanket generalization, which is the sign of an uneducated person. So please show me your education and give me one specific that is totally wrong.
Or tell us what you would like to do internationally.
No, ISIS is a CIA-funded entity. Absolutely.
There is a
They have training camps in Jordan.
There's an entity called ISIS.
They have training camps in Jordan. Why don't you go to their website? Do I have to do this every night? It's just amazing. I just can't get over having to do this every night and give people the link to ISIS. It's amazing.
What would you do to solve the gang issue across America?
Oh, I want more opportunity for people who are definitely in need.
I think that we need to start building up communities.
Mm-hmm.
I mean...
Yeah, you can go to this link right now and become part of... just look into the entire process. You can find out what ISIS is doing, but they won't tell you specifically where they're located and who they're training. But
intelligence,
their forces, they've been working on force technology for a long time. And you saying I don't know anything about foreign policy? I can tell you ISIS is definitely working in Iraq. No question about it. Their mandate was to build up a Sunni resistance to Maliki to overthrow him. We are running both sides against the middle. That's what our foreign policy is right now, and you're too stupid to understand that. So don't tell me I don't know anything about foreign policy. I know all about it. I think they could be paid trolls. Yes, we discovered a guy who paid everybody who came into our room $100 back in 2008. Hey there, Subbeto. We've been in a war since the beginning, David Nation. It's just your imbecilic president, Barack Obama, didn't realize that we needed to keep a contingency of force there to maintain it. It is helpful for explaining your mental disorder. Stupid applies to you. Well, Hillary would endorse Obama. That's a mistake. Obama is the standing in the way. He is part of the problem now. Obama hasn't been a president. He's been a liar. He's been a complete liar to the American people, telling us what we wanted to hear off a teleprompter, and you people were so stupid to believe it. Oh, is that a website that's fake to mess with me? No, that's a public website. Yeah. That's the public face of the ISIS headquarters. You people are out of your mind.
That's not the same one that they're talking about in the news.
No, I know that that's not the same one they're talking about in the news. They don't want their cover blown. Okay, so when I go here to read about ISIS, I get nothing. I go there and I see the overview. This is all meaningless. You're saying this is just nonsense. I see their clients and their client list. The U.S. Army Intelligence Center in Fort Huachuca. U.S. Army Intelligence Center in Fort Huachuca, U.S. government. You think all this is BS? Advancia, General Dynamics. Oh yeah, come on, man. You're a complete imbecile. You know it. Ask your doctor.
Hey there, buddy. How you doing? Get a job, Rodney. Get a real job.
Yeah, so you just don't understand that teleprompter reading presidents are a dime a dozen. I'm the real deal. I know. He took it away from the local cops, Topper Dan. That's part of the de-evolution or devolution protocol that will be implemented during martial law. What you're seeing in Ferguson, Missouri is an example of Operation Devolution, where the local governor of the state gives command to a higher level authority to take over. This will then go to the National Guard from the Highway Patrol once it elevates. This is part of a plan to turn our country into a FEMA camp. The elitists have already killed the internet, 1377. For all intents and purposes, it's been killed. They've got control over all websites, pretty much, and can even knock us off the internet if they want to. They've done it many times. If I talk about issues that are a little too hot for you to hear about, and I'd mention them right now, but we can get DDoSed and shut down in a second by the Army, the Allied Signal Corps, Army's communication subdivision. They have their finger on the pulse right now. They can shut us down at any time. It's not hard. Good luck with that, Sabito. Well, I'd like to talk about hot issues, but once I do, you're not going to see my feed. It's going to go off. They've already got censors in every network. What do you mean makes no sense? Why would bankers and rich people want you to be around? What do you provide? You're not even working. You're just sucking off the nanny state. Why would they want you to live? Rich people want less people drawing from the resources of the planet. What about that do you not understand? Well, I'm bringing up a controversial issue right now.
Thanks, Court.
The planned death and genocide of 90% of the human population. It's happening right now. Okay, Cisco is one of the hubs that the CIA uses and the NSA uses. You got a point. Okay, we need to thin the herd discount. See, Rodney's even spouting the mindset of the rich people. Rodney, ask, Topper Dan should talk to Rodney, because Rodney will tell him,
we need to thin the herd discount. We don't want all those scumbags draining off the resources that the rich people want to suck up.
Exactly. So what do you mean there's no logical reason why rich people would want to get rid of people? I mean, a simple idiot would tell you that they have every reason to get rid of little people that don't do anything but sit there and suck off French fries and Slurpees at 7-Eleven. The Georgia Guidestones. Thank you, Nefa Libata. Thank you so much for sharing. I'm not getting pissed off, and I can be the next president. I answer many questions in this show. What do you mean there's no world economy? Bankers have nothing to do if there's no world economy. Bankers are hedging against the collapse of the entire global economy. Why do you think they take more and more money every day? Because they are just like you, greedy and looking for more. But their problem has an endless need for more, because the more they get that's printed, literally, the more they realize the watering of the currency is going on, watering down of the currency, and then they say, well, their money's not worth as much, so they need more. It's a vicious circle. They get printed money, and they know that it's watering down the economy, so they want more. It's that simple. Well, let's be clear. Obama has definitely unleashed Ebola into our environment, and we're about ready to get Ebola-ized. Our whole nation is going to be dealing with this new vaccine they're going to be pushing on the American people, the Ebola vaccine. And just like Obama was a major contributor to the avian swine flu vaccines that came rolling out in 2009, Obama spent $24 billion of your tax dollars to companies like Baxter Labs and GlaxoSmithKline. $24 billion went out for those things. They're re-engineering them for Ebola now. Oh yeah, they didn't scare people enough with the swine flu. Now they got this weird Ebola strain. I'd be glad to have an Ebola vaccine. Are you a complete imbecile? How do you think you're going to get Ebola, you moron? What do you think they put in vaccines? They put thimerosal with mercury in it. They try to kill you. Vaccines are not a proven science. It's junk science. I was talking to Sarah about that today. You want to talk about it? The idea of vaccinations originally...
No, I don't want to talk about it.
All right.
I mean, I don't mind you talking about it, but
I never take flu shots either, Topper Dan.
I have a different perspective, as usual.
No, that's okay. I just don't believe that the vaccination program works. I believe it works with pneumonia and polio and cowpox, smallpox, but does it work with 250 mutated flu viruses? Hell no. No, vaccines have been proven not to save people. You need to go to the Mercola.com site. Let's bring up Mercola.com over here. Mercola.com.
Okay. Why am I doing this?
Well, they've got an excellent reputation of the vaccination program on there. Dr. Mercola, the whole deal. Let's do a search. Vaccinations.
That article.
Well, any one of these is good.
Vaccines cause children.
Vaccines and neurological damage. I mean, I'll just put you in one of them. Drugs and vaccines are more dangerous for children. I'm going to send you guys to a site that you can just read about vaccinations. Hello, Power DT Laura. Hello. I'll play this for you right now. Or just go check it out. Go to Mercola and learn about vaccines and the fact that they've never really been tested on anybody effectively.
Doctor of, what's a DO? Doctor of something.
Anyway. Green technology is great, thanks. Okay, I'm going to let you talk to Sarah for a little bit.
Some vaccines are dead.
Either the Food and Drug Administration has not even evaluated sodium fluoride, which is in all our water systems. No, they've been delivered to billions of people. We've seen an increase in childhood autism. Many people attribute it to possibly to vaccinations. We've seen a large morphing and mutations occurring in the vaccines themselves. Haven't you ever met a guy who said that they took a vaccine and they got the flu? Seriously, thank you. Haven't any of you said, yeah, I took the vaccine, I feel like terrible, and I think I have the flu? Well, the fact is, this is a 100-year-old science. Actually, it's more than 100 years old. It was originally developed by Louis Pasteur, and it's never been proven to work in almost every case except pneumonia, smallpox, cowpox, and polio, and diphtheria. The zero water lasts as long as however particulate polluted your water is. If you've got a lot of particulates like we do, 500 parts per million of total dissolved solids, it will not last more than 2 weeks.
It comes with a little tester, though, and it says you should replace the water when the test says 6 parts per million. 6 parts per million of dissolved solids in the water.
It comes with a tester. No, your body's physiology, that's like saying hocus pocus solves the problem. There's no science in what you just said. Saying it's not technology, it's physiology. We know so little about the body's response to any particular disease. Our immunology knowledge is about 10% of what it could be worldwide. You know that they don't even know if viruses are dead or alive? They still don't know. They replicate like coding and programming. They don't necessarily use meiosis or mitosis to replicate. Viruses are completely a different beast, and many people in the field of immunology and virology and obviously geneticists are grappling with the reality that these things can morph faster than you can think lickety-split. Now, doctors are telling people not to take antibiotics because we don't want in any way these types of diseases to mutate, right? Meanwhile, we're throwing tons of antibiotics into our cattle and our pork and our chicken. I'm not going to be convinced of anything. I'm here to convince you you're an absolute idiot. And you're out of here. You can ponder my words while I'm on break, thank you. You can stand and stare at Sarah for a while. Well, I know antibiotics do not work on viruses, but similarly, doctors don't even realize that the amount of antibiotics in the food we're eating is lowering our resistance and creating potential mutations central in the animals and livestock. Similarly, imagine injecting a vaccine into a little egg, which is what they do. Or they put a germ into an egg, and then they multiple eggs, and they germinate them in eggs of all things. Then they suck it out and make a vaccine out of it. It's really basic science. It's stupid, is what it is. And basically, they're injecting it in you so that you can incubate and protein synthesize a mutation. That's why we've got a lot of low-level mutations out there from what we had about 10 or 15 years ago. We had strains of the coronavirus that mutated and is now, maybe you feel like you're getting a sore throat, right? And it's not, it doesn't lead to a stuffy nose. That was a mutated virus. They're basically changing in all different directions now, and the CDC is a group of absolute idiots that don't even know what they're doing, and they brought 7 Ebola patients into the country. This is simple chemistry. It is. And there's no science behind vaccinations, and you can look deeply into it. If you think that Dr. McCullough is a proven quack, you can go ahead and do that, but there's a reason why people don't get flus in the summertime. Because Dr. McCullough has actually studied the effect of vitamin D production in your body when you're exposed to the sun. There's a solid reason behind that. That's scientific. There's no science behind vaccinations at this point. No solid science. Check that. The CDC would be a bunch of idiots to allow 7 Ebola patients to come in here. Oh, God. I just can't believe these people even think the CDC is protecting them when they're probably going to poison them. Yeah, vitamin D3 is an excellent thing that bolsters your resistance to things. And you get it when you get exposed to the sun. Top or down, you're starting to get a little nauseating.
Yeah.
Yeah, just cool the jets, buddy. I'll be back shortly. Yeah, I don't believe the CDC is protecting you. Try calling them right now. You won't get them on the phone. They will not answer the phone. You'll get a European agency phone service that will talk to you. They won't even answer the phone to any American citizen. They will only answer the phone from the health department. I'm telling you. It's a joke. There's thousands of people working on the federal dollar, and they don't do anything but stand around and look at Petri dishes all day. Hang on.
Thanks. Okay, I know.
What idiots.
I was, David was talking earlier about vaccinations, and I brought up the point that the polio was basically cured with, I mean, not cured, but the polio vaccine helped prevent the spread of polio. And I think that, you know, so there, and I was reading a little bit earlier today about vaccines and how basically the usually vaccines are made with something that it can be made with like a dead bacteria. Sometimes like a tetanus vaccine is not even made with a bacteria or a virus or an attenuated one, which is like a living one but weakened strain or anything like that. The tetanus vaccine is actually made out of the toxin that is released from the, I think it's a bacteria, but that, so it's actually made out of that toxin to get your body used to seeing that toxin so it can attack it more easily. Okay, Ed. Well, we are now over at StreamUp. Well, so I don't necessarily believe in having the flu vaccine, mainly because it's an attenuated strain, and there have been cases where people have gotten sick from the attenuated strain of the virus, which because it's a weakened form. But, and the thing about the flu vaccine is that there's so many different types of flu vaccine, and it changes all the time and mutates on its own. Not that people are mutating it or anything like that. You say it's strange how cancer became the greatest plague of the 20th century in as little as 30 years, when it was basically almost unheard of before 1960. Yeah, you're right. You do have a point there, 1377. They did have a disease before the 1960s that basically was, I mean, if you look at it now and they had the same technology available then they probably would have diagnosed the people with cancer, but at the time it was like wasting disease was one of the diseases. They had different names for different things that they now call cancer. And mainly they call it cancer because it's just one part of your body that's replicating quicker than any other part. Yeah, I mean, vaccines have helped. I would say vaccines have helped the human race. Even though David says they're not scientific or whatever, but I would say that they've helped, especially when it comes to things like polio, and even measles, mumps, rubella, those kinds of things. I would say overall it has actually helped the human race. And I think of Jonas Salk and polio, and and also all the smallpox and things like that. Sorry, Ed, I don't know. You used to grind the flax in a coffee grinder. I have had flaxseed in a coffee grinder before as well. You don't trust the new vaccines because the official agencies have basically abused and lost all your trust, 1377. That's, I guess, to be expected. We had a case of a town near us that had a whooping cough outbreak, and whooping cough is one of the vaccines that infants often get, and that was due to all this entire town basically had stopped taking, had stopped getting their children vaccinated because of all these ideas and all this worry about autism. The site I read today said that there had been studies done and that there is no, there's been no proven link between vaccinations and autism. Even they've studied the whole thing with the thimerosal as well, and there hasn't been a proven link. You think most of us have learned to discount what the government says, perhaps? Yeah, almost the entire town. I mean, fortunately, I don't know if any of the children passed away, but am I part cat? I love cats. I'll take that as a compliment, Miss Grace. Yeah. Oh, actually, Court 999. That whole thing about not getting kids into school unless their shots are up to date, those are usually state laws, and I will tell you this, which I just found out this last year. Two things. If people are homeless or if they are immigrants, they are not required to follow those state laws. The state must accept them into their school even if they don't have their shots up to date. Now, if you have a home and you're a U.S. citizen and you're abiding by all state laws, they'll ask you to keep your kid home unless their kids have their shots up to date. But it's if you're homeless, there's an actual because the federal government has created these two different laws, and one of them, two different laws, and basically they said that schools must provide an education for children regardless of their housing situation or anything like that. I am not the one running for president because this was a dream of David's to run for president, and I support his dream. And I will not run for president unless he has served 2 terms or something happens to him. I am his partner for life. I'm not actually married to David because I choose not to be, because I don't think the government should be involved in people's personal relationships. Okay. No, I don't really dream of dating the president, no. So, it's... Well, we talked about, you know, maybe getting married someday, Dan. Rhode Island was the first state to create a homeless Bill of Rights. Now there's a federal, there's a federal law. And I think it's called, I can't remember the name of the law, but no, I don't want a tax break for being married. I don't even think that there necessarily is a tax break anymore for being married, Miss Grace. I've been looking at the tax laws, or the tax, not the tax laws, but a couple years ago I was looking at the taxes, and it seemed to me like there was a tax break in place when George W. Bush was president. But then if you look at the taxes that are due after George W. Bush was president, and you look at just under Obama, there really isn't a tax break for marriage that I see. The federal, there's the Constitution plus the Bill of Rights, which is like the expanded Constitution. Then there are other federal laws, Ed. So the federal laws are not just the Constitution. Thanks for coming in, Miss Grace. You hate politics? Yeah, I understand. You think it's all lies and a cover-up for what they want us to know. I definitely understand how you feel. I like politics, I guess. I support David's dreams, whatever they are. So, either science will cure old age. Well, Meester, eventually, as you get older, you're like, well, maybe you think like at this time. You think when you're 20, 45 is old. When you're 30, you think 70 is old. When you're 60, you think 90 is old. So, yes, our government is owned by money, and sometimes that money is from foreign nationals, from all these lobbyists. It's just so crazy. Yes, David has a party. It's called America's Third Party. Do I think Google Glass is wearable? Oh, is wearable 1984, like they're spying on us everywhere? It's funny you say that, because David said that he wanted, since I'm running as running mate anyway, if we'd have to be separated, because if I were vice president and he were president, that we would both have Google glasses so he could see anybody I talk to and anything I do. Yes, so you can join the party, 1959, and help get him support. The free cell phones is all taxpayers' programs, yes. Oh, well, just if we were separated, Miss Grace, and if I were vice president. And he would want me to do the same thing with him, even though I totally trust David. Oh, hey, Romeo, and tell Winchell I said hi back. Hi, Winchell. I like that little dancing man. It's really cute. Okay. Hi, Hannah. Nice to see you, too. Oh no, David, trust me. He's just talking about when we become president and vice president, and then that way, also we could post it online and people could see who we talk to as well. Yeah, I give David a butt rub. His nice feet. What is David's favorite ice cream flavor? Anything except for mint. How's David? It's been ages. It has been ages. It does seem like, Hannah. David is doing pretty well. No, 2014 or whatever you want to believe. Good night, Miss Grace. Thank you for stopping by. I really enjoyed you stopping by. Why do you think UK citizens like being spied on with CCTV cameras everywhere? Really? They're even there so that they can go snoop on their boyfriend or girlfriend? Is that the case? 1377? Just seems kind of odd to me, but okay. You haven't watched the news lately? Is David president yet? Well, there's a big, no, David's not president yet. But, oh, thanks for letting me know, Ed. But there has been this huge, big protest happening in Missouri because some police officers shot an unarmed civilian. Some people say he was running away from the police. Some people even put the CCTV cameras in their houses. They're like, sure, put them in our house. The cameras, man. You love chocolate ice cream? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I could see having a CCTV in my classroom or something so people can watch me teach their children. You like having cameras around? Yeah. I don't know. It's like, the thing is with those CCTV cameras or any other camera thing, like, I guess I'd be pretty comfortable with it because I know that I'm always online, but I do have a separation between here and my bedroom, and I wouldn't want anyone seeing me in the bathroom. And they're all state sanctioned, but I guess with in the UK it's all that other people can watch it, not just the police, right? So then it's just like everybody's watching what's going on. Kind of weird. They want me to be comfortable with them because soon they'll be everywhere. Thank you, Hannah. Well, David's planning on living that long, so that will be good. I think that you are somewhat right that they want us to be comfortable with them because they're going to put him everywhere. I pretty much am who I am. And so what you see on the line is what you get. Give it to you straight. Am I a progressive? I'm a little bit of a progressive. In some ways I am, because I want to rethink our society and the way it works. At the same time, Troll Dog, I also understand how business works, and I support the way business runs and operates. I'm not a big Rocky Road fan. I don't like the marshmallows and the ice cream. Thank you. Am I in favor of Planned Parenthood and abortion? I'm in favor of what I always say, Troll Dog, is I am pro-prevention and pro-education. So I am in favor of anything that will prevent an unwanted pregnancy in the first place. Condom distribution is among that. Education, I'm in favor of educating students and people about not just abstinence-only education, but full education And I also believe that women should be educated about all of their options when they do become pregnant. For instance, the father of the child may want to raise a child, his parents may want to raise a child, her parents may want to raise a child. She needs to be educated about the option of adoption before abortion is considered. However, I do not want to make abortion illegal. I think that if abortion becomes illegal, then there will be many back alley abortions, and there's a high risk for infection and things of that nature. No, actually, there was I believe 4 other presidents that did not graduate from college. Hannah? No, I did not say that, 1377. I said I do not want any cameras in the restroom ever. Bathroom, restroom. No, I do not want that. Is 5 kids enough? I don't have 5 kids, but I suppose 5 kids is enough. It's up to people. Adoptable, Josh, you were adopted. See, I think adoption is really great, that people step up and say, hey, I want to help children. I want to help raise a child. Vaughn is not down for me, but Phantom Rider, this chat is working. I can see you. I don't think I'm Jewish. I don't know. All I know is I was born in America, so I don't practice any religion. Yeah, anytime, Phantom Rider. You're Jewish at heart. Do you? So is your adopted family Jewish? Because I do know, I have a friend of mine that his family is Jewish, and then he adopted a child, and so he raised him Jewish. In the Middle Ages, families often couldn't feed another mouse, so the mothers would smother the newborn. They call it laying over. Yeah, and you know, there's this book I read when I was going to school to be a teacher. It's actually called Mother Nature is the name of the book. And the entire book seems to me to mostly be about infanticide. It was kind of bizarre, but it was like anyway, I could talk about that, but that's okay. Yeah, it's strange to me that I read it as I guess it was required reading or suggested reading for a course I took, and it was a required course in my education. But yeah, that was rather interesting, and some of it was about adoption, how people put their children in foundling homes and things of that nature. So, yeah, there are, well, I know so many people fight over religion, and I don't see the point of fighting. Hey, Fishweir, nice to see you. That's an interesting perspective, Dan. There is also prophylactics. People get that. Well, people that have that done 2014, they can have estrogen problems that can then lead to certain cancers happening. So it's you know, just getting your tubes tied can be a problem, at least for women. I don't know if that's when men get vasectomies, if that's a problem or not. Huh, I guess it depends, Dan. Maybe, yeah, that's true abnormal. I mean, but there is, Yeah. Oh, 8868. That was funny. Made me laugh. How did this chat devolve into this? I thought this was a political chat. Okay is, you know, okay is a strange word. Okay, it requires societally accepted.
Right.
And certain things are okay in some societies and not okay in other societies. If you're happy with what you do, then be happy with it.
We have a guest over at iVlog that says that they want to get rid of everything and start over again. They want an entire country to change everything. Well, I wish that in some ways that was possible, but it's just not. You can't change everything. In fact, the corporate-controlled economy and politics is completely entrenched. We can begin to change it, but we can't change it like you want it, every aspect of it. No, it's too unrealistic for us to do that. I'd love to do that, but it's unrealistic. All right, I'm going to bring up a video of a maglev rail train that was proposed about 10 years ago in none other than the Great Northwest.
I have a maglev rail train open, that future.
I know. I like this one. I want to make it the backdrop just for a little bit. Let me just run it through.
Sure.
Okay, here we go. We're going on a ride. Okay, let's get on board, everybody. The SC maglev. All right, the proposal was put out there, but they haven't built anything across the country. America is still lagging behind other countries in developing any of new maglev rail technologies. There is global dynamic systems at Lawrence Livermore that are developing a pulse system that will be used to get people from point A to point B using electromagnetic pulses. This shows a lot of hope for America, and we may be able to do this with less energy wasted. Here we go. All right, you can't see that over at the Google Hangout, but we're playing a little video of a maglev rail system as it's presented in an animation from Washington to New York. It's proven to be too expensive, that's correct. It may happen, Hannah. Let me introduce you to an idea that I think could make it happen. We believe that we could pay as we go with the maglev. We can lay tracks from point A to point B and build America's infrastructure and rebuild America's infrastructure, even paralleling the rail lines that we currently have. We have a proposal that we put together called the Cool Rock Maglev Wind Farm. And the maglev wind farm would actually run on renewable energy and solar energy, generating power at every power station, and that power would begin to give us enough revenue to gradually lay more track, slowly. It will take approximately 6 million years at this rate. I'm just kidding. It could be done probably in 15 years using this technology, this methodology. I guess we got people loving everybody here. Hi, Candy Rain. Love it. I would love to be able to go down the road in one of these things. It'd be cool. So the idea of using wind power and solar energy to generate revenue has never been put out there except when we wrote a letter to the Seattle monorail people and they rejected us. Well, Elon Musk is borrowing all his money from the banks, and most of the money that comes into the technocracy, corporations like Google and Facebook, is borrowed from the banks as well. So Elon Musk's, his entire life is built on borrowed money. I'm sure anybody who borrows money can build something. Look at Solyndra. They borrowed $527 million and built nothing, or very little, and then took that money, wasted it. Look at Fisker Motors. They took $1.5 billion of your ARA money, your tax dollars, and they didn't produce a 100-mile-per-gallon car in Finland. They used your tax dollars not to waste in Finland, and then they went bankrupt. Yeah, but he doesn't really make that much of a profit when you look at the big picture. Yeah, I like Elon Musk. Don't get me wrong. I really like the guy, but all of his money has been coming from the technocracy that's been funded by the printed dollar. Mark Zuckerberg got $36 billion and didn't produce a single product. You didn't go to the market and pick up a Mark Zuckerberg, did you? Anybody buy anything on Facebook? Any products made? Basic horse crap. Mark Zuckerberg, right. And he took so much money that he felt free to give $19 billion out to what app? An organization that has 4 competitors worldwide, and he doesn't even own the patents on the technology. Mark Zuckerberg is an absolute greedy idiot. He's the poster child of American greed and the printed dollar. It's the reason why we are facing a huge amount of economic suffering at the local level. Well, buses aren't even paying for themselves, 759. Buses are actually being literally empty. In our area in Washington State, they've got lots of these hybrid buses that cost about $500,000. Yeah, his intellectual property, he can have all the intellectual property he wants. The point is he can't make a car for less than $35,000. Elon Musk is a failure unless he can help the average man in America. I urge him to start selling or giving away his patent ideas to somebody who really can help people like you and I buy a nice vehicle, that not necessarily a Tesla, but something that gets 100 miles per gallon. You can produce a very nice hybrid car right now for under $15,000. I've talked to experts in the field, and they say, yeah, we just need the right funding, and we could pull it off. We could make a profit at $15,000. It's like, really? Yeah, so Elon Musk is all pumped up with technocracy money. The big problem is they're just funding a huge takeover of all of our technologies with printed dollars. So basically, your dollar in your pocket is shrinking every night when you go to bed. You wake up in the morning, you go down to the store, and a head of lettuce is $3, not $2. Cheese is $5.99 for a block, not $4.99. Every day that they print up more and more money, it waters down the value of your dollar, and that's creating a crisis. And technology cannot just be funded on printed money. There's no way it's going to succeed in the long run, because what it needs is the virality of people buying and producing. Now in America, we're not producing hardly anything. We're buying things, but our money is all printed out of thin air. So the rest of the world is catching up to that and realizing, wow, these people don't even know that they're not producing anything. And then people are starting to say, well, yeah, there's other money that's more valuable because countries like China make more products. We don't make enough products. Anyway, back to the show. What did I interrupt when I came in today? Anything special? The talk about prophylactics I heard you and Topper were having.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. What was that about? Is this technology of prophylactics or something?
No.
Were you? Okay. We're producing zip. It's a great idea to do IPO or just go ride the monorail. Sorry to be pessimistic. Court 999, we haven't even brought in Elon Musk's new concept of our Hyperloop technology. I think it's fair to say Hyperloop technology would be fun. Do you need this website?
No.
We're going to look at Elon Musk's Hyperloop technology now. Yeah, that's an irrelevant question. Monorail and maglev rail technology has been proposed since the 1960s. I banned that person because they were trying to characterize me as not knowing about modern technology.
Big Ned, Fishweir wants to know how he can help in the campaign versus Larson.
Oh, Fishnell, thank you.
Fishweir.
Fishweir. Oh, excellent. If you're from Washington State, we are producing these new signs. I'm only distributing about 25 of them. That's how many I have left out of 150 that I originally produced. Almost 100 signs were stolen. So we've got 25 of these going out. And these are just pay stubs. I put U.S. Congress on here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have one of these things printed up. I'll have a template for the new ones, a brand new model, on our website. And you can print them up on your printer. if you have an 11 by 17 piece of paper, or you can download the file and take it to an Office Max yourself and start making them yourself in our district, District 2. We're going to be presenting as many as I can. I've got over 100 going out, and I'm going to keep this whole thing going up against Rick Larson. I've got to hit him hard where it hurts because they think they can cheat. We've got lots of name recognition. I ran over 500 TV commercials, almost 500 TV commercials. I have 483 TV commercials in the previous campaign. My name's out there. I'm going to ride on that name and tell everybody in my commercial that my competitors cheated. They literally cheated. They sabotaged my campaign, took away all my 5 major signs, and at least 50 to 100 of the other ones. Probably 75 were stolen. No, I don't need to hand out the flyers at this point. It's beyond that. At this site recognition, I've got the website on this poster. I'm going to have the website on the other poster that's downloadable. People can go to my website to find out the issues. We are battling corruption in Washington that's so great and so steeped in permanency. They are so permanent. We're going to be taking on this Goliath, and we cannot just give up. We have to keep trying. Every time they sabotage us, we have to keep trying harder. That's the only way we're going to beat these people. I'm not whining at all. Topper Dan, you have no idea the muster that it takes to fight this corruption. You're part of the corruption, Topper Dan. You come in here with such negativity in our show that you're lucky you even have a place in our show. Maybe you think so, Topper Dan, but in my world, people don't cheat. In my world, people are honest. So I don't know why we've been plagued with such dishonest politicians, except for the fact that honest men have not stepped up like myself to challenge these scumbags. I'd like to accept you as who you are, Topper Dan, but right now you're an interloper and probably the least popular person in this room. No, there is no such thing as a fourth party yet that I know of, but if you guys want to start one, go right ahead. Chilling, I know. Negativity is a bad vibe, I know, Court 999. I have a lot of negative stuff thrown at me every day. And Topper Dan, you can see, is a part of the problem. He just reeks of the problem. He says, David, in the real world of politics, all people cheat if that's what you call it. You see, this is exactly why we've got a country that's so screwed up, because of people like Topper Dan. You accept this as a norm. I'm sure you do, Topper Dan. I'm sure you know a lot of people in this room who like you real well, because there's a lot of corrupt people like you, Topper Dan. You're more likely our enemy than a friend. You seem like an enemy. I think he is. Topper Dan, I think, are you ready for your next band? Because I think you're getting a little too big for your britches.
Hi.
Go ahead and eat your own doo-doo. Yeah, you are. You're not helping at all.
Oh,
I know, Ed.
That's in the latest rumor is Robin Williams was diagnosed with Parkinson's.
Yeah, I heard it too. Yeah, we know. Robin Williams was diagnosed with Parkinson's, everyone. He had a medical problem.
Talk to that person.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard about it today, yeah. Hang on, we got another band here. Hang on. Go ahead. Oh, great. We haven't checked today. We're going to check tomorrow. We didn't get around to it. All right, well, be sure you call before then, because I usually take a swim.
Ooh, who said
No,
that?
I don't always do that at a specific time.
Robin was not diagnosed with any mental problems like depression.
Just call me if you're going to be past 12. All right, take care. Bye-bye. That was what I said? I said it was a possibility, yeah. People that use coke get Parkinson's disease. Case in point. A person who's never come clean with his drug use, you may know his name real well. I'm not going to mention his name, but you know he's a very famous comedian actor, not Robin Williams. He's a great comedian. Back to the Future comes to mind, okay? Right. Great comic actor. Right, thank you, Michael. Not Louis Anderson, he's dead. But there's evidence that this coke use went back as far as 1983 with Robin Williams. And I can tell you emphatically that I know for sure that people like Hollywood actors were doing coke around me in the early 1980s when I was in Hollywood going to parties, meeting people from various major motion pictures and film. And they were all doing coke. So you have to look to coke as the culprit. And maybe Robin Williams knew that he couldn't get high on coke anymore because Parkinson's would prevent that. Parkinson's most likely is caused by cocaine overuse, most likely. I need to look up Sam Vankin. I like Robin Williams insofar as he was funny to listen to. But when I first saw Robin Williams in 1975 at a theater where my sister was trying out for a play, he looked like a guy who was really troubled. And I looked at the guy and I said, there's a guy who's going to go places, because he's really had tremendous confidence. Of course, you get really confident when you're high on coke, apparently. And I knew at the same time that he was very troubled, too. Those are the two things that came in mind when I saw him in 1975. Troubled, but probably going to be famous. He looked troubled in 75, yeah. You know, I would encourage electric trikes to be used in towns and cities. Let's take a look at this, Pickle Fantasy. Organic transit. How about that?
This is the Organic Transit ELF version 1.5. It's a really cool paint job. And it's sort of a cross between a bicycle, an electric bike, and actually a recumbent trike.
Neat.
And almost like a light electric vehicle that's ready to haul stuff around for you, protect you from the sun, protect you from the elements,
so cool.
which we might experience here shortly. Got these nice lights, got these bearings to keep you
cool.
dry.
Organic. The Organic
It's
Transit
a really
ELF.
interesting and provocative
I like it.
vehicle. Transporter.
It's a bicycle and probably has electric assist.
Problems. It addresses these opportunities where people might want to get.
You saw him last on a political show and you knew something was wrong, abnormal? Yeah, I hear you.
Environmentally friendly, exposes you to the community, and would mean that you don't need, a license or insurance because this technically qualifies as a bicycle.
Cool. ELF, everybody. Yeah, pretty cool. And you can find out more about them at organictransit.com.
And would mean that.
Okay, organictransit.com. Check it out. Thanks for that. Appreciate it. David, elected, how would you go about cleaning up our oceans and the plastic in them? Great question.
No, 9933.
Well, I have a plan very similar to one proposed by a certain environmentalist who's become, fairly popular on the internet. We talked about this in our book, Hybrid Capitalism, building desalination pyramids in the ocean that can not only generate water, fresh water, but also electricity, and a byproduct of that would be to come up with a solution for the water itself, cleaning the water. And I'm going to show you some technology that this guy brought forth, if I can bring it up, that really does look like a possible solution to the ocean pollution. I also will mandate that the Navy immediately stops their flushing of plastic waste into the ocean. Right now, the Navy gets away with unbelievable plastic waste going into the ocean. We can convert plastic back into oil, too.
I think it's difficult for a family to deal with Alzheimer's, not necessarily Parkinson's.
Okay, let's bring up the clip for you. This is the guy, the young man that talks about it. But I'll show you what he's proposing.
Because the essence is not to catch the traditional idea of extracting litter, right? So you have a vessel and a net fishing for plastic. Of course, multiple vessels could be used to cover a larger area, but by spanning booms between those vessels, suddenly a much larger area will be covered. Because the essence is not to catch the debris, but divert it. And emission earlier this year. on the North Sea in 195 tons.
Hang on. I'm going to try to find the vessel. I'm doing random cuts of this video to see where it is. Hang on. There it is. Okay, that's something like what he's proposing. It basically is a collector, and it filters the plastic that's on the top and even about 5 feet below. All right, back to you. Sorry. Sorry to take your time there. You're a suicidal survivor. Wow. Thank you, Candy, for sharing your story. I know, it's the selfish cowardice way to get rid of a person's, for them to take their life. Unless they're in terminal pain, Candy, I mean, surely you've got to admit that there are some people who are living, writhing in pain. In our state of Washington, Oregon, and California, they have death with dignity laws. But I don't encourage people to kill themselves. I'm just saying, if somebody wants to exit stage right, they could, if they were really, really suffering in our state. All right, that kind of looks like Pink Floyd's The Money. Yeah, I remember that Pink Floyd Money video that I have in my collection. Yeah, so this could mean a lot of money for America. Imagine the possibilities. We can build pyramid-like structures that can float in the water and export them to various other ports around the world. Sounds good to me. What do you think? Yeah, possible money, making money on floating pyramids. I turned it up, yes. Ha ha ha, David, yes. Let your family know beforehand. If you're going to go out that way, absolutely, Court99, I agree. Good point, thank you, Court99. No audio, thank you. Okay, Court999 had a good point. If you're going to go out, be sure you tell your family about it. Yeah, don't just kill yourself, folks. Let them know that they need to do an intervention. All right, we're back up and running. Get away, money. Okay, yeah, you'll be making a lot of money working at the port where we build these pyramids, floating pyramids. Get your hand off my stash, exactly.
Yeah, I did hear about that a long time ago, Akinori Ito, but I did not know who is it. I didn't recall.
Well, we have his video right here. Let me play it for you. Akinori is a close friend of somebody. I don't really know him personally, but I've got the video of him making actual plastic into oil. Let's show it for everybody, and I'll do the voiceover for everyone to listen to Akinori. Here we go.
I am taking stream up tonight.
United Nations University presents. As a child, I enjoyed playing in nature. I didn't care about the environment. But since I came here and had my own children, we have to fast forward to this. I'm not allowed to show children on Vaughn, okay? And the effects of trash can be very bad. Ah, yes, arigato. Chaos. So by using Japanese technology, we thought we could convert plastic back into oil. It's made from oil, so it's probably not very difficult to convert it back. That's how we started. Welcome to Akinori. This is the oil conversion machine. Removed, we put in the plastic in here. This is the plastic ingredients that will make the oil. The point of the small machine is to don't have to break down the trash. Then let's say easy to understand that it turns into oil. Entonces, the temperature will begin to rise. The plexus will begin to melt and become a liquid. After the liquid burns, the gas passes through here and enters here. This is tap water. The water cools the gas and turns the gas into oil. You know how the gas in your bathroom turns into oil? The oil is okay to burn as is. You can further process it to make diesel, and kerosene and gasoline. If you separate the oil, then you use it for your car or a motorbike or a boiler, a generator, and a stove. You can use it in the same way as regular oil. From 11 kilograms of plastic, you can make 1 liter of oil. If you burn 1 kilogram of plastic, it turns into 3 kilograms of carbon dioxide. Hey, Ed, thanks. I'm not ignoring you, Ed. You'll be in shortly. Living electricity and heat and reduce about 80% of CO2 in emissions. Ah, yes. We just learned something very important. The man who invented this stuff. Yeah, isn't that cool? Great. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, we're going to get into StreamUp now, Ed. We're not ignoring you. The machine is an awesome piece of technology for turning plastic into oil. That's why plastic is still being dumped on landfills, polluting the soils. The technology is available. That's what we have been asking. Why are we wasting our waste? 639, the reason is the two-party system. Yes, Japan could use a little bit of this technology. She's in here right now, Fishface. The Sponheim girl is none other than Candy Rain, live in our room right now, chatting with you in real time. Thanks, Linux Gamer, but we're not really sure. We spent all our time reading what you said, and we still didn't know what you said. Okay, Ed, we'll be in the show shortly. Hold on. Hold your horses, buddy. I know, really. I was like, why are we reading this? Like, duh. He cut and pastes. That was a book, I know. Candy Rain, don't worry about it. Some people like to cut and paste. Let's keep it simple, right?
Wash, boil, serve. Got it. That's funny, a Linux Gamer.
Wash, boil, serve, yes. Nothing worse than
Washington Biological Survey.
Wash, boil, serve, yeah.
Somebody read it as wash.
I know. It's amazing. So we learned about the organictransit.com ELF video review. We learned a little bit about making plastic into oil and how this third party could literally spearhead all these new technologies because we need to get our head out of our ass. There's no other way to put it. If you're still voting two parties for the Democrats or Republicans, you don't expect the world to get any better, do you? Fishface, I think you're mistaken. You're part of the problem. Yeah. You see, people don't realize how brainwashed most people are, and they're just starting to like percolate to the top right now and go, oh, what's this guy doing? Oh, wow, he's pretty cool. Thank you, Candy Rain. But I'm not here to give up. Just because a lot of you don't understand what I'm talking about or may not realize how corrupt our country is. Pacific Now dead from Fukushima radiation. Thank you. I will watch it later. We'll cue that up for tonight. Thank you so much.
Sorry.
Thank you for sending that in 2014.
Oh, shit.
2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. We should do some like marching. Americans are not eating better, they're radiated more. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Everyone want to get up and do some marching with me? There, Abnormal standing. He's up there with his rubber ducky. Let's cue the marching music. Yeah, let's do it. Let's play some music. Let's get this entire event going, shall we? Want to do some deep knee bends, everybody? You know you don't want to sit there and do nothing and get fat. I had some African American walk up to me one day, and he started doing this little thing where he danced in front of me, and it was like Mr. Bojangles, and I couldn't get over how fast he was moving his hips, and I realized, wow, it's a cultural thing. Not only can white men not jump, they can't move their hips without jiggling too much. So I've got to get back to more physical activity during the show, I think. All right, enough of this. You got to get your blood pressure up if you really want to make a better life. Okay, Ed, we're over in Ustream now. In Stream Up. Did we get into Stream Up, Sarah?
No.
Oh, we didn't get into Stream Up?
They were having problems with their servers. I was on it for a little while. They were having problems with their servers. The laptop seems to be taking on too much.
Okay, we don't want to overheat our laptop, Ed. You know, you can do that with your computer, and it can burn out your hard drive. If you have an HP, like we do, a backup computer, it's notorious for overheating. I urge all of you to take a little bit of the compressed air and spray out the back of your laptop or your desktop. You will elongate your life considerably. We're not running a futile party, dude. We're not. It's only futile because you haven't even helped me at all to get on the ballot in your state. You're the reason why you are saying that this whole effort is futile. You're the reason. No, seriously, the fact that you have got to get me on the ballot in your state. You can come into the show and we can talk all you want, but don't call this a futile third-party campaign unless you blame yourself. All right, Ed, no problem. I don't blame you for being ignored. Would you like to go on to Skype, Ed, and talk, just to share? All right. You're helping Rand Paul? Oh, you need to go away. You're a bad guy. Yeah, that's not good. We got people coming in from Rand Paul's camp, clown dude. Yeah, he's a scumbag. Yeah, people like that are just riding on their daddy's coattails, just like George W. Bush, no different. Okay, we'll get in there right now and see what we can do. See what kind of damage you can do tonight in the last hour of the show, Ed. Hello, Mr. Sponheim. You should fear Rand. He's very slippery, and he's a sneaky snake, like all the two parties are. Look, they sabotage my campaign. I mean, these people will take over your nation and turn you all into FEMA camp victims. Just sit back and watch them. Yeah, Bush was an idiot, and so is Rand. He's not my favorite guy, I can tell you that. He's riding on his dad's foottails. Thank you, Sunstar. Thank you for coming in. Sunstar, it's such a nice it's great to see you say good night, because I love hearing from you in our show. Feel free to chat anytime. Thank you for coming in tonight, Sunstar. Sunstar, one of our longest-standing supporters, thank you so much. Yes, he's just too slippery and sneaky, and it's like, you know that people asked Rand Paul if he was interested in running for Senate or Congress, and this was in 2011. He was asked, do you think about running? And he said no. No, he didn't even, and then all of a sudden, once somebody mentioned it to him, then he was all about running, and he ran right away using his dad's fame and fortune to power up his campaign, and you got another crony there. It's called nepotism. Pure nepotism. And we don't need no nepotism here, man. We've had George W. Bush. We don't need another one of them. No nepotism. Look it up. That was great. Okay, I'm in Skype. What's your name, Ed? Go ahead and contacting me in Skype, Ed, and if you want to go on camera, you can. Thank you for coming in. So Hangout was kind of messing up a little bit. So I'll just drop out of Hangout, Sarah. Looks like I'm dropped out. Let's try it again. It's despotism now, yeah. No nepotism or despotism. Good point, 344. Okay, I got it. Join. Take me there. I'm already in a video call. Okay, I'm returning to the current video call. Great, I'm back up and running. Oh. Okay, Ed, we're going to ban you. All right, we're going to drop out of... See what a little prick he is? Yeah, there you go. Classic prickdom. Signing out. We're never going to have Ed on a show again. We're done.
Whoa.
Yeah, he just... You wouldn't believe what he just said. He sounded like a needy little girlfriend. You're right. Thank you, Candy. I can't believe that guy. He's done. I got some serious whack jobs in the room, Donald. I appreciate you noticing that. You didn't see it? Don't worry about it. Ed is just the scumbag of the earth, obviously. Literally draining off our tax dollars, claiming to be mentally ill, sucking off the government tit all his life. What are we going to do with people like Ed? Seriously. It's unbelievable. I know. You have a potty mouth? I know, Donald. I appreciate you saying how you feel. Real man does that on a regular basis? That's so sad. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. So a lot of haters that come in here, and I think Ed just secretly is jealous because he's 47 years old and I'm 54, and he looks 10 years older than me. I think that's his biggest problem. Yeah, there you go, Ed. You're back again. I knew you wouldn't like that. You can't get a job, can you? You can't go down to the local motel and say, "Hey, Mr. Sponheim, I'd like to work as your hotel manager." You can't even offer to clean a hotel room, can you, Ed? You can't even bring yourself to go to workforce and try to find a job, can you, Ed?
He used to be homeless, but now he no longer is.
Ed is the ex-homeless guy. He's done on our show. He'll never come back in. I gave him one chance after he threatened a certain political official, and now he's done for good. Thank you, Court. Stay looking good, everybody. Well, if he's intoxicated, we don't need a reigning drunk who lives off the government tit, who smokes cigarettes on the government dime, to come in here. No, I'm not proving I'm a liar. I'm done with a guy who comes in here and attacks me personally after I've given him every opportunity to come into our show. He's useless, exactly. And I'm getting a little bit tired of all these useless do-nothing people who literally want to suck off the government the rest of their life. So maybe this is the new line for our America's Third Party, because I'm tired of hearing about these people, especially the non-U.S. citizens that don't want to literally go through the process of legal immigration. All right, I'm going to step out for a while. I'll be right back. Let me get something to the floor in just a second.
Oh.
Yeah, put this down there, but stop walking around. Yeah, that was unreal. The guy really doesn't belong in our show.
I didn't see it, thankfully. I'm thankful that I didn't see whatever that was. But okay, good. I can get this troll under control, the show under control as much as possible. I think it pretty much is under control. Would I manage technological changes to workforce? With humans not needing to apply, basically we'd be taken over by, a lot of the jobs would be taken over by robots. I think that those are I like the idea of automation and all of the things happening with moving toward automation in the workforce. I think that's very good. I know that it puts a lot of jobs at risk. However, I think that as far as putting the jobs at risk, I think that there are other things that people can do, and I think that we need to, that's why I do believe that we need to rethink our society, and we need to work on housing as a big issue. Thank you. I like you too. So I personally think if we build up houses for people, that their cost of living can be lower, and then even if jobs are taken over by automation, it'll free up people to live the life that they choose, or live easier, an easier lifestyle. I still think that there still will be employment opportunities, but I also think that that's the issue when people talk about a living wage. Is really, I go back to, it's not necessarily the wages, because there are companies that are trying to hire people, but they can't afford to hire people. When you get people into higher and higher, you pay people more and more money, then the cost of everything is going to go up, because then they're just going to just shuffle that cost onto the end consumer, the end result. Yeah, you have extra houses in Detroit. We just need people brave enough to live out there in Detroit. I mean, one of the things is, I know it gets cold in the winters in Detroit, but it is an interesting idea to have Detroit, people wanting to live there. I know that Michigan is one of the few states that I know of where the actual government can take over ownership of a home, and then they can say, well, we want to give these houses away to people if they would like to. I know some things in Detroit where they're just tearing down the houses because they're in such disrepair that sometimes they're worried about them catching on fire or something like that. About low wages in tech trades and skilled labor, stagnant pay in the South for sure, and it's poverty wages to fix computers. I think that just fixing computers is probably, might be that way. I haven't heard that in this area, but I think that if you want to go into the tech trade, it's more than just fixing a computer that you need to know now. It's, networking and programming and things like of that nature. Neither one is obsolete, Buckwile. Center yourself, yes. 6393 says, with technological advancements, I wish in agriculture, medicine, etc., it's not feasible to think with an unnaturally rising population that the controlled depopulation becomes necessary to maintain balance in an ecosystem. I think there might be less population, but I don't think it should be due to depopulation efforts. I don't think that people need to take anyone out for any reason. I think that there might be less people born in the future. Do you think we need more farm jobs in this future of automation? That's not a bad idea, Fudge Dragon. In fact, there is a site called, I think it's takeourjobs.org, or I'm not sure if that's it, but if you Google Take Our Jobs, I'll Google it for you right now, then they actually offer farming jobs to anyone, because right now people are complaining about immigrants coming in and taking all the agriculture jobs. You built a quad drone. You're high tech. You can run a fish tank. Oh, and hydroponic gardening. Programmers are working on automating white collar occupations first. Oh. companies are paying to automate because white-collar jobs have such high salaries. I did not realize that, Pickle Fantasy. I will check that site for sure. Well, hydroponic is not just for growing marijuana. Hydroponic gardening is a type of gardening for growing all kinds of things. People can grow tomatoes hydroponically, or lettuce, or anything. Anything, they can do that.
Yeah, that's great. I feel like we're doing some serious house cleaning this year. You know?
Yeah.
I'm really glad, because you haven't liked the fact that this guy's been living off the state dole and seems perfectly fine.
Well, one thing I did find disheartening, or I didn't like, was I asked both Ed and another individual. I said, "Hey, if both the individuals were living off, had Social Security benefits basically," and I asked them, "Hey, if you got a job, if someone offered you a job working on a farm, and I think I said for $15 an hour, would you do it?"
Right.
And both of them said, "No way would I work on a farm." And to me, I think that people should be willing to work on a farm. Yeah. But I do understand that there are people that need assistance, and
they wouldn't even work for a simple $15 an hour on a farm. I know a farmer right now in my area who has offered $15 an hour out to young people, and he said they don't even put in a full day of work. They bitch and complain constantly.
Well, I know working on a farm is very difficult. I don't work on a farm. I haven't, but I know it's very difficult. It's by the United Farmer, UFW.org has, I guess it's takeourjobs.org.
It can be hard, I know. But $15 an hour is okay.
They have this thing where you can sign up to be a farm worker, and because they're trying to enlighten people to the idea that migrants often come into our country to work, and they often work on farms, but people say, oh, they're taking our jobs, but really? Well, the question is, are they really?
2014 wouldn't even dig a hole for $100 an hour. I understand a lot of people don't want to work in America. They've been led to believe that they can just live off the dole, the government dole. Well, one thing I wouldn't do, if somebody asked what would you do to prevent this troll dog attack, said that. Well, I wouldn't allow 99 weeks of unemployment insurance to go out. I especially wouldn't authorize more than the current amount that is being given for people who are unemployed. That alone keeps people from getting a job when they get all these free money from Romeo's hitting on Bish here. When they get all this free money from people just to sit around and do nothing. Because I understand you don't even need to get people to sign off on unemployment insurance now. You can just say in an affidavit that you went and looked for a job. In the old days, you had to go to a local business and say, hey, could you offer a job to me? And they say, well, no. And could you sign this saying I asked you? And they say, sure, why not? But they don't even do that anymore. Ow. You get a check. All right, so some of you are living on disability. I understand that. We're not going to be able to erase the disability checks that are going out. But when you get a person like Ed who just doesn't want to do anything, it really makes you wonder. Seriously, can't we segue some? What Giuliani did in New York City, he actually offered jobs to people cleaning up the street. Homeless people could go out and pick up garbage and would make money. And so did Bloomberg. Bloomberg did the same thing. So in the morning, homeless people can gather and get some free cash by just going out and doing some basic work.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah. So it's all about giving people a little bit, saying, hey, you like the money? Great. Here's a little bit more. You want to work? Great. It's almost like you got to feed them like Pavlovian's dog.
Create the jobs,
to give them money. They want money. But you have to offer them some incentive to work.
Yeah.
Okay, please don't hit on anybody in the room. Ed didn't do anything, Gary. That's the problem. He's a do-nothing. And because he's a do-nothing, he doesn't deserve time in our room, and he also insulted me. And I don't feel it's worth my time to have a guy who insults me to come in my room. So he's done, permanently. Donald says, as I was migrating to working from home, I still had to work 2 more years landscaping in town before I was comfortable only on my own working from my home. Only on my own working from my home. Okay, cool. A lot of you need to segue from working. It was devastating. A lot of people need to segue from working in the real world to working in the dream world where you have a home. So we can supply people with houses. We can give people low-cost alternatives like Section 8 housing vouchers could go to a government operation like a state-run housing authority or even HUD. We could loop money back in by having the government build up houses through our homestead renewal plan. But until we actually get these people to live affordably in affordable housing, we'll never get ahead. None of us will. Bish, you'd probably like to live in a beautiful palatial house overlooking Beverly Hills with 2 pools and your own male slave who can serve you drinks. Hello, may I help you? I'm sure everyone wants to live in that ultimate world, but you know, having a motel room with a kitchenette is not so bad. And I'm not saying you're living in a hotel room with a kitchenette, but seriously, I mean, you can get by pretty well living in a nice small motel room if you're all alone with a kitchenette. She has a beautiful home. Have you seen it? Oh, that's wonderful. I'm so glad. And Candy Rain just wants a garden myself. Yeah. See, it doesn't take a lot for people to be happy. Yet we've got this dreamland world where everyone wants to have this beautiful house, $500,000 or $1 million house, overlooking wherever, and it's just not going to happen for everybody. You hate your life and you live in a beautiful place. See? Even living in a beautiful place and hating your life, it's all possible. Everything is beautiful when you're really depressed. If you're feeling down and out like Robin Williams, just think of what you got. Yeah, you got a nice belt in the closet. Yeah, I don't think he did the right thing by taking his life, but you know, when you can't get high on coke anymore, and I know he had a big, strong addiction to cocaine. His doctor found out he had Parkinson's and probably said, I'm sorry, Robin, you just can't do that cocaine no more, you know? Bish, are you doing a lot of drugs? I'd like to live off the land too, Bish. We all want to live off the land. I agree. I know NYPD is a threatening arrest over Ferguson solidarity protests. Troll Dog account, this is exactly what the police state does. It suppresses freedom of speech. All hell is breaking loose, I know. It had to start somewhere. Why not the outskirts of St. Louis? Well, maybe it is improving a little bit, Bubble Blaster, but wait till the people still get, you know, their heads bashed in. That's going to really make people pissed off. It's not over yet. Believe in yourself, Bish. Believe that you can have a happy day tomorrow. And you don't do drugs. I appreciate the fact that your candor is well taken. And I think you got a lot of fans online who really are rooting for you, keeping it real. I'm pro-legal guns and anti-gangbangers, yes. It's not a contradiction at all. Gangbangers tend to do home invasions on people that are unarmed. Yeah, follow that logic a little bit, and now you'll know where Australia was about 10 years ago when they got rid of guns. And they're still that way. Lots of home invasions, gangbangers, no guns. Maybe in the end it'll turn out he killed himself because he saw beep, 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 beep. Thank you. We had to interrupt the broadcast with the beep sound in order to prevent you from listening to the bad words in the chat. Well, reality isn't exactly designed to be something you love. So why do you think reality should be any different than what it is? I mean, your problem is you expect reality to be better. If you accepted reality as what it is, a living daily nightmare. It's the stench, Mr. Anderson. The stench of humanity and reality, Miss Bish. Yeah, just accept the fact. It's stinky. Yeah, it smells. You know, the whole world is basically built like a scratch and sniff ad. You scratch and sniff and it smells really, really bad. Well, I don't really care. Please don't disrespect Bish here. Yes, be nice to her. She's trying to deal with reality. To her, it's more than just a bad word. It's becoming a nightmare, and she's living it. You know, she comes into the show thinking people are going to like her, and look at you guys. Some of you don't like her. It is what it is. You go, Mr. Anderson. It's the stench, Mr. Anderson. It's the smell of humanity. Center yourself. That's right. Candy Rain embraces all loving people here, and she just wants to garden. Why are you allowing her to take your show over? Guess 527, I'm not. My show was gone. It went into after-show mode about 24 minutes ago. During this mode, members of the chatter community are allowed to engage in the chat and oftentimes dominate the content of the chat dialogue. If you're listening to this in archive, you probably don't realize that most of the shows are managed and controlled through audio-animatrized robotics. Developed at Lawrence Livermore Laboratories, these technologies have been deployed during chat sessions just like this. As an automatic chat robot, I'm here to share with you all the ideas that are available in this big, huge information world of ours, and get to know the potential President and Vice President of the United States. During this time period, you'll get to know all of us personally, even our real Android personalities. Good. I'm glad you like it. How can we be of assistance to you tonight? You quit casting, Bish? I don't blame you. It's just difficult. It's a lot of hate out there, Bish. We've been impervious to it because we're so into this for 6 years now. We're on our 1,700 and some odd broadcast. That we're impervious to any negative comments, and frankly, our hard drive was written to avoid all negativity in the jet stream of programming code. If you're watching us in the cloud, bear in mind most of this conversation is being recorded by the NSA. Does beer help, dude? Bless you.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I had to say bless you. Yeah, why would you broadcast that anyway? Repeat, repeat. Devas fast. NSA, aku. You may speak in 3-syllabic words only. Anything longer than that will be too long for your brain to comprehend. Broadcast is safe. You can use the word broadcast. It has 2 syllables. Sarah, do you have Ebola? No.
Not that I know of.
I feel like there's something weird out there, though. Some sort of a designer protein synthesized gene that maybe was developed to take us all out. I'm battling daily. My immune system is bolstering against the potential Ebola strains that are floating around thanks to the CDC bringing it into our country. I know, very weird vibe just now. Are you tuned in like I am? I'm very tuned in. Yeah, there's all this weird CDC Ebola crap coming in through the jet stream. We're filtering it out. We realize that a lot of it's just designed to force people to take vaccinations and kill them that way. Anytime you have an injectable going into your bloodstream of anything like that, you don't know if it's nanotechnology, RFID chips, latent strains of attenuated viruses like Ebola. Could be anything. Could even be mercury or thimerosal. I mean, who would open their veins up to these freaks with their little needles and going, I'd like to prevent you from getting Ebola. Here, have an Ebola strain. Oh, I feel so much safer now that I took... You know, I won't take vaccines. I will not do it. Just like I won't go outside and grease up and bend over and say, come and get me. Jeez, I can't believe people even do this. Same here, Candy Rain. I mean, how many of you people want to go outside and grease up and bend over and go, come and get me? I don't want to grab my ankles either. I hear you, Court 99. You're the next generation of childhood vaccines will be designed to lobotomize kids into zombies. Very good possibility. No, I don't donate blood. The whole Red Cross thing is a total ripoff. Do you know that they could easily treat people with trauma with salt water, D5W? That no trauma victim will die if you get enough volume of water into their system that's got that combination of D5W. I'm not talking about WD-40. I'm talking about D5W, which is a combination that is used to help people with large losses of blood. Now, what the Red Cross has been doing, number one, is in the 1980s when Elizabeth Dole was in charge of it, you know, the wife of Bob Dole, Elizabeth Dole actually oversaw the Red Cross when they killed 384 hemophiliacs with the spread of AIDS in their blood. You get a free print out of it. I have personally know people that were basically Hep C victims, literally giving blood a week before they died. I mean, you got people, Hep C victims, giving it out in the streets just to get a few bucks. And that's what the blood supply is. And you know they throw it out every 2 weeks? The whole Red Cross thing is a complete suck scam off the government. It's of no value. I won't integrate with the Red Cross when I develop my mobile medical units. They're all about the money and about nonprofit status. It's all weird. The whole thing is very, very twisted. But we do need levels of hemoglobin at the hospitals for people with rare diseases. No question about the need for blood. So I won't in any way terminate the Red Cross. I just won't integrate them into my mobile medical unit system. I don't trust them. They're all about the money. You're so glad there are medication-resistant strains of AIDS floating around? Bye-bye San Francisco? Is that what you're saying? Wow. Okay. You're one of those people that believes AIDS was developed by Gallo back in the early 1980s to get rid of the homosexual population and Africans? Yeah. Oh yeah, charity. Most charities like United Way, 85% of their revenue goes back to the administration and the salaries of the people working there. Don't be an Herb Tarlick, Mad Dog. Candy Rain says nonprofit does not mean the people are not making money. It means at the end of the year the company bank account has to be zero. That's true. Good way of putting it, Candy. United Way is totally scamming people. The money you give to United Way goes to their salaries, not to the end product. Most of it goes to their salaries. Well, Fudge Dragon, I think you're right. It's not a stretch to think that somebody like eugenicists like Bill Gates want to get rid of people in Africa. It's possible. You know what's really weird about Bill Gates? He doesn't put... Hannah, I'm sure you'll find Prep H works the best for you. The question came up. Oh, Candy has a link there. I want to click on that. The fact is that eugenicists like Bill Gates never invest in prophylactics. Okay, here's a little bit of technology that could be used to sniff out drug smuggling, brought to us by Candy Rain. The fascinating new piece of technology. I'll take a look at this. While there's often been a heavy focus on items coming to the U.S. from Mexico illegally, what about the things going out of the country? We're developing a device that mimics the function of trained dogs sniffing out concealed money, but without the drawbacks such as expensive training, sophisticated operators, downtime, and communications limitations. So this technology can sniff out currency. It's kind of like a doctor when they detect an infection. The bulk currency detection system is being developed by the California-based firm, uses gas chromatography and mass spectrometry to detect vapors specific to currency. That's a great little tidbit of knowledge. Thank you for sharing that. Back to you, Sarah. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
Okay, great. You refuse to use Prep H? You talking about your Aunt Hannah? Okay, I'm sorry. I don't want to bring back bad memories. Memories, memories stretched across my memories. Memories stretched across my mattress. Like time woven in the fabric of time. The theme from Star Wars. Hey, I could be a roadway actor, thank you very much. No blue friends. Well, I've abdicated all interest in the material world and made a vow of poverty, and now live in a small monastery here on our show. But thank you for suggesting that, but I've already gone through that stage of my life. If I hadn't, I would be like Robin Williams right now, hanging with a belt around my neck. You can't be a comedian like him and expect life to go on like that. It doesn't work that way. We are the world. We are the children. I remember that, yeah. I do. That was a weird moment in process propaganda history. Really, the bank accounts of the people on the missing Malaysian flight 370 are being tapped slowly. I wouldn't doubt it, Fudge Dragon. That makes total sense. I believe that flight MH370 was actually staged to look like flight MH17. The 3 was turned into a 1, and all those cadavers were laid out to make it look like a real... I know, I cannot be a comedian like him and do comedy. I know, I can't. I would never go down that road. It was a road to suicide. The thought that people of all ages would find somebody funny is not possible. You can't make everybody laugh, especially you, guest 2314. You're one of those people that probably hasn't laughed in a long time, except that time when you threw up on yourself in the middle of that plane flight.
Oh, we're being featured.
We are. Thank you, iVlog. But the MOG is lagging. Springtime. No money left to spend, I know. Job is a job, money is money, but making $7.25 an hour is not much better after paying bills and buying food. Well, you said a mouthful there, Springtime. Thank you. Well, no blue friends, what you little you do know, people with Parkinson are not allowed to take cocaine rectally or intravenously. So Robin Williams was having a major cocaine come down. When he found out he couldn't take coke, the one thing that made him happy, his Parkinson's prevented that. That's really the reason why he killed himself. Well, being a unique talent, not many people can really say they do coke all the time, but he sure could have. And he was in the beginning stages of Parkinson, and you can't take cocaine in the beginning stages of Parkinson. You know what a guy on cocaine with Parkinson's looks like? You want me to give you a little example? Let's get the video up here. I want to show you what a guy with Parkinson's and cocaine. You ready? You can step out of the picture so that I won't take a picture of you. This is my representation of what a person who has Parkinson's looks like on cocaine. You can't control yourself. You can't control yourself. You really believe that, 268, that Robin Williams was a sacrifice? Hey, you know, I wasn't in some of those coke rooms with all those members of the 90210 group that I met back in the late 70s, before 90210 wasn't even a show. But I heard them in the bathroom going, oh, dude. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I was there. I was at these parties with all these people filtering in staff members of that funny show. And they were all like making these snorting sounds in the background. Well, these really cool backgrounds are like available. I think it's like freebackgrounds.com, you know, or something. You say the whole cast? No, just some of them. We weren't doing plate jobs. You're thinking of somebody else. Jack Nicholson. Right. But this is the after show for a reason, to make you know that I'm not your average run-of-the-mill presidential candidate, for one. Two, I can relate to you. I don't live in some high-rise overlooking the ocean with Henry Kissinger calling me on the phone saying, Mr. President, I want you to understand that the New World Order will be telling you what to do now. I'm sorry, Henry, I'm sorry, I cannot answer any questions related to the New World Order. But, Mr. President, we control you. We'll clone you.
We'll make a new person just like you. You better comply or we'll take you out.
It must really get on David's deep at a high beep. Like, we've got far more. Bummer. I don't suck up to the corporate world like Robin Williams did. I don't suffer from the same depression he does. But it makes me sick that you come into my room saying that crap. Yeah, Kissinger is some sort of well, he's a triple agent for one. His code name is Heinz. I actually can be funny at times, and I'm not high on cocaine. He was human, Bish. Yeah, he wasn't very funny. He was human. I saw Robin Williams in 1975 in a theater. My sister was auditioning for a play. And he came in there, and everyone turned around because he made noise. You know, he was like talking a mile a minute, pretending to be some sort of an Eastern European guy. He was walking around doing business, acting completely like the center of attention that he had to be. I don't do alcohol, Bubble Blaster. I'm not an alcoholic, unlike George W. People drink all the time. Lauren, I do. Hello, Razor's Edge. Good evening. Welcome to the show. Sarah is done for the night. Is that right, Sarah?
Yeah, that's fine.
She's saying good night. Thank you. Is this real? It is real. Can you not see? It is real. Can you not see? I don't drink, I don't smoke, I just poke that poke. And coming up October 31st, I'll be doing my one-man show as Broke Insane Obamas. Can you not see? That's right. I said not see. I said not see. I said, can you not see it is real? What is wrong with you? Well, no, I don't know about medication-resistant strains of AIDS. I just believe you got to use protection whenever you have coitus interruptus. That's okay. Please be sure you use a condom when having relations with someone. All of you. I will, Sabito. We'll give him a nice drive in one of those Humvees right to Supermax, where he will be tried as the treasonous fraud that he is. For all of you who have been called a birther in your life, you will have your day in court under my term. Trust me. We will be talking directly with the Supreme Court about them blocking every case access to their court regarding Barack Obama's birth certificate. What the Supreme Court has done is veritably blocked all access to any kind of overseeing jurisdiction. It's very strange. You know, the very person that did that blocking of access, was the former Solicitor General, get this, Elena Kagan. Elena Kagan, that nice Jewish lady who was given the Supreme Court justice position a few years back. Do you know that she never served as a judge in her entire life and automatically became a Supreme Court justice? Isn't that payback? Doesn't that seem like payback to you? It sure seems like payback to me. I'll tell you, it smells to high heaven. Every single thing I've seen about Barack Obama's administration looks, seriously, like a cover-up. I believe Abbottabad was a cover-up. I believe that Benghazi was some sort of a cover-up. They had to get rid of Chris Stevens. He was going to talk. I believe that there's all kinds of things being covered up right now by our government. And I really believe that it's not the government's fault. It's the corrupt people within the government that are doing this. No, I do not recommend ground troops to attack ISIS. I merely want to get the CIA on the phone and say, hey, guys, can you want to pull back your operations? ISIS forces need to be pulled back to Jordan. Go ahead and pull back. Okay, great. Problem solved. We've got a new prime minister. Maliki's stepping down. We got a new guy coming into the entire scene real soon. Abadabadu, or somebody of that name. He's going to take over.
Abadabadu.
I believe Abadabadu is going to be taking over for Maliki.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Yabadabadu. And then this entire wasteland of a nation will somehow be magically transformed into a happy Disneyland type operation in your mind. Meanwhile, as Barack Obama, you know, there should be like a daytime soap opera. As Barack Obama turns, It's almost like as the world turns, as Barack Obama turns, basically this do-nothing president who's offered us no new ideas, no solutions to the problem in Iraq, we now see a veritable vacuum of power, and his inability to support Maliki at a key time has led to this. Thank you for coming in and sharing. I will not pay $9 a gallon if ISIS isn't stopped. No. The whole Iraqi thing has been made up from the get-go. And all those poor Iraqi people, almost 1 million people have died as a result of the CIA playing some sort of a side-op using Iraq as the way of securing the petrodollar. We don't derive any oil whatsoever from Iraq. We never did. ExxonMobil tried to set up operations in North Baghdad and abandoned operations. It's bad. We never got oil, but I suggest we do get oil out of Iraq. I have a very comprehensive plan of building a rail system from Basra to Baghdad, and not putting ground troops out there, but rather using automated defense systems to guarantee the safe passage of all the people who can assist the Iraqi army in building this. We can work with the Iraqi military directly to build what appears to be the only solution to the Iraqi problem, which is a way of getting goods in and out of Baghdad that's secure. I can't believe I have to go down this road, but I don't mind telling people that if we don't do something, it'll turn into a civil war. Price of gas is not going to go to $9. We make more gas now than we ever did. In the Green River Valley, the fracking operations are putting out 12% growth in petroleum out of the U.S. I don't believe the petrodollar is going to change at any time soon, Hellraiser. Our military might holds up the petrodollar, but we're not using our brain, engaging in a real plan. We've been shifting, like shifting sands in the Middle East. We've been shifting all over the place. We're not really solid. We don't have a strong policy, a tactical strategy for the Middle East. I'm offering you guys a tactical strategy for the Middle East. Automated defense systems, not like Skynet, but a weapons-free safe zone outside Baghdad and outside of Tikrit and Fallujah. These will be areas about 20 miles in diameter that can be used to provide safe haven for people who are really seriously in need of getting away from IEDs and markets that blow up in their face. We'll be using all kinds of new technologies to patrol the area, but the primary goal is to protect the populated regions in and around Baghdad. Let me show you a picture of Iraq. By the way, gas consumption has dropped significantly. Now this caliphate is strictly, see this garbage that's been promoted on the news? This caliphate is a complete hoax developed by the CIA. It's their new version of, oh, the jihadists of Osama bin Laden. It's their version of that. So they created another concept for all of us to fear, the caliphate. In reality, what they've been doing is embedding ISIS forces in and around Shiite forces, the Iraqi forces, and initiating war anywhere they can to constantly eat away at Maliki's regime. Reason being, Maliki posed a problem for the U.S. and forced us to go into what appears to be a response to Maliki siding with Iran. Because our government didn't think creatively fast enough to counter the effects of Iran on Iraqi politics, the CIA had no other choice but to train in Jordan ISIS forces merged with ISIL forces to occupy this area that you're looking at right here. This area itself is an area that could very well be a civil war in the next few months if Obama doesn't do the right things rather quickly. Our government never thinks fast enough. Good point. Okay, so Baghdad, the possibility of sending a rail line from here to there with defenses on both sides is possible. this would be a potential solution to the problem. And you'll notice the areas that I'm painting, it's pretty safe right in here in these areas. Right here, right here. These are areas that could be used also as weapons-free safe zones, away from the major catastrophe. The problem is we want to make the safe zones able to be near populated regions, like right in here, or right here. These safe zones could be perimeter controlled, preventing any explosives or any kind of even fuel from getting in, and they'll be run on electricity. I'm making the nasal passage of a dinosaur. I hope you realize that. Exactly. Obama is a reactionary president. He doesn't seem to be able to think too quickly on his feet, Subadu. Good point. You like to wear a turban in bed? Okay. Well, that sounds pretty kinky to me. Are you one of those people that's face to the north, like the Iranians do, and self-flagellate every morning? Some of you are into some really kinky stuff, I can imagine. All right, so that's basically the whiteboard approach. We're trying to mitigate problems, not create it. This won't involve a lot of troops sent in. This can be done working with the Iraqi army and some of our consultants and intelligence advisors. But we will have to send in some major air support. So you can imagine how many rockets could fire in at enemies in this region right here, blocking this out, or in this region. These are the areas that are most critical right now. Surgical strikes in these regions will definitely help, but we're not sure if they can be done at this point. Barack Obama waited too long. Are you whatever you are? Okay. Yeah, plain and simple, our president and government is not serving us well. Thank you, 191. Bear in mind, everybody, I have been running this campaign for a third party for the past 6 years. I've given it my all, and I continue to give it my all. I've got a wonderful campaign starting again in the general election. I don't give up, folks. I want you to understand, I'm building this campaign to get myself back in to the race and take Rick Larson votes away from him. After the Democrats took most of my signs down in the previous primary, they took my major signs down within a day of me putting them up. It hurt me very, very serious. It's a good sign. This is just a local one. We took all the old signs and covered this with a U.S. Congress independent vote, and I'm doing a write-in. So basically, I'm pushing this. 30 of these signs will go out this week coming up, and I'm building all kinds of new ones. They're going to be everywhere. And I'm going to run 500 more TV commercials. The goal is to make these Democrats pay for what they did to me. The write-in portion is very noticeable, yeah. So we just took an old sign and I redressed them and I'm putting them out again. They're not going to stop me. Just because they knocked me out of second position in this local election, I got over 4,000 votes. I know Vorpal, I don't have the money to hire pretty girls. I'd rather run TV commercials. It cost me second place, guess 339, yeah. So here I'm running an honest, credible campaign. The media, the foreign-run media, mind you, slammed me. Canadian-owned newspapers slammed me, insinuating that I was some sort of an objectionable person. I know, who needs TV commercials? 300 doesn't cut it, Casey, you know that. So we're going to be running a slam campaign against Rick Larson, who supports the war machine in the military-industrial complex, and could care less about the 27 million marine mammals that will be affected by the Navy's operations over the next 5 years. And I've got stats and all kinds of newspaper ads to prove it in the commercial. So I'm engineering a very powerful commercial attack ad against Rick Larson, and I hope to make a dent in his campaign. Even if it means a Republican winning, I don't care at this point. These Democrats are too entitled. They feel like they have power and they want to hold it and they want to cheat and they want to sabotage my campaign. Good luck with that, buddy. Welcome to my world. Nobody stops this. Homeless man, you're done. There's no forgiveness for you. You should go out and get a job, make a few extra bucks. I'm tired of your routine. You're not coming into my show anymore. So you don't just step on a guy who's honest and decent and trying to get into politics as honestly as I am trying to do and sabotage my campaign, literally, without having to face the wrath of Dave. because I'm not going to sit back and watch people deny me my freedom of speech, my right to have a parody of the president. All that's totally possible. And I've never said a racial slur in my life. I've never called a person anything. I've been called honky, cracker, Wonder Bread, Mayo Boy. What other names have I been called? That's what I'm talking about. But never have I ever said a bad word about another person. And then now they're calling me a racist. Can you believe this? Can you believe this? In a country that my ancestors settled, fought the English to keep our nation free so that we could have freedom of speech and freedom of religion, these commie Democrats are trying to step on my parade, and all of us should be allowed to speak out. And this is exactly why I'm running. Because those Democrats told me to shut up when I said I didn't want to ratify the war in Iraq. They literally told me to shut up. Sarah's a witness to it. Please don't use the N-word in our show. I don't support racism of any kind. Milk toast, that's another one. Yes, my ancestors planted. They came in on the planter, the ship right after the Mayflower. I have a documented ancestor who came in on that. I'm a 16th generation American with roots and connections to some of the greatest names in this country's ever known. When they stepped on my freedom of speech, they ran into a hornet's nest. And I'm a badger defending my freedom of speech. They can't take it away from me. So yeah, expect another video, which you can call whatever you want, which parodies the president, coming up October 31st, our Halloween show. Thank you, Skies Casey. I appreciate it. You're one of the original ones, Fred Dragon. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. I've met a lot of people from the East Coast with ties to the early colonial days, but some of you guys have family members all around the country now. Yeah, so don't think for a second that this whole race is over. I'm just getting started. And I'm not going to waste a general election, an opportunity to tell people who I am, because I may be running for that guy's office if I don't win the write-in competition right now. I mean, I'm going to be running in 2016. I can run as a president in 2016 nationally and not run as a president here, and I can run for his office and pay the $1,750 to get into that race or whatever it is. This year I paid $420 to get into the State House race, and they slammed me and took all my signs, at least 50% of them. All right, thank you so much for coming in. Fish, are you still here or are you out? Not Fish, Schiff, Fish.
Fish.
What's her name again?
Fish.
Bish, thank you. Bish, are you here? I've never met Bish in person. Yeah, I think she left. Fish, Bish. Okay, great. A lot of times people don't have enough, stamina to last 3 hours, 1,700 and some odd shows. I'm going to do the count. I got to get the count down. No, I hope she's okay. She seemed very depressed. Dad didn't give me any cash, buddy. Yeah, there's no pipe dream here. We've had donations that came into our committee to elect David Jon Sponheim for president, and I can't think of a better way to promote the committee to elect David Jon Sponheim for president than to write me in for Congress. So yeah, I'm going to be taking some of the committee funds we currently have. Yeah. I'm going to make it all very possible. I don't need to pull from private funds. I pulled, what, $600 some odd for the local race for my own money. I didn't mind doing that. I was the largest donator in that particular race. But now I'm in the general election. I really think that we need to, step it up and take these people on head on. No, the bottom line is everything, every dollar that my father left me actually went to pay back debt, to be frank. And all of it was quantified and specifically denoted in the probate hearings of both my father and mother. I'm not lying at all. Thank you. We had to pay a lot of debt back when my mother passed away. And then my father outlived my mother by 5 months, and then at that point it was all pretty much gone. Thank you, though. Yeah, I'm not here funding my life on the back of an inheritance. I live very humbly within a very small margin in order to live below my means, actually. To live below my means, I'm able to survive long term. I could literally live in the woods on rice and beans. I could be a prepper and literally live completely disconnected from society if I need be. I've never really failed at business. I've always closed my businesses down in the black. I've never walked away with debt. I've never had any debt in my life. All my businesses were completely liquid when I closed them. But my family had some debt, yeah. No, I can't be a fluffer and a prepper. I don't even know what that is. Some buff fluff girl wearing a backpack? I mean, seriously. Yeah, I know. What the hell? Why are people bashing this guy for his belief on how and why the country needs a change? I know, Guest 191. You're the voice of reason coming in here. Thank you. I have never lost a business. I've always succeeded. I just closed my businesses before they were dysfunctional. Hey, we're at the end of the show. Thank you so much for coming in. David, do a pay-to-view Blackcast, and you can raise money to help your campaign. What a great idea, Ireland's Patriot. That's a great idea. Why don't we do that? We'll have a pay-per-view show for 2 hours of our night, and I'll give you a 1 hour free show. How's that? 1 hour free show, and then a pay-per-view at the end, 2 hours. You think we could generate some capital? I think I could hook it up on StreamUp for pay-per-view. Yes. Well, what are your questions, XSplit person? Question away. I can answer a quickie for you. XSplit is free to download, but if you want to use it commercially, you have to pay a licensing fee. I could do a Kickstarter, yeah. I think everyone wants to see it, but I don't want to limit it to just people who pay into it. But I could offer like a 1 hour show and then 2 hours pay-per-view. All right. It would stretch out to all hours pretty quickly. You know, I've never really set this up as a profit mechanism. Frankly, I really don't believe that this entire third party is going to grow strictly on money alone. I really believe it's word of mouth and you guys talking about a third party to everybody you know. I'm battling unbelievable prejudice out there. There are people that just don't understand how important what I'm doing is. But top 3 issues for me: getting our troops home, building American jobs, and solving a border crisis. Building American jobs is where we bring in green, clean technology. Now, I was going to bring in a discussion tonight, which I didn't get to, regarding the basic ideas that we have for our revival of America, which include creating houses with our homestead renewal plan. This is taking existing houses and building them up. This is a concept that we believe could lead to even a solar power industry for America, making carpet-like solar panels that get really good efficiency from the sun's energy and also cost less than $1 a watt, and taking houses that are currently broken down and building them up, leading to jobs, shovel-ready jobs, fixing up those houses. Another big part of our campaign is to develop solutions with hemp. Now, hempoline could become a very, very successful technology that we could deploy. The creation of hempoline will lower the cost of diesel for our truck drivers and provide real solutions for growing things that could turn into houses. You could make a house out of hemp, believe it or not. Here's a Cannabis Nation Radio. If you go there to their website, they'll show you how to build a hemp house out of hempcrete. All of this could very well turn into a much better solution for America. Now, I have yet to see any real contest here. Everyone says that hemp, legalization of marijuana, will help our economy. The only one that hasn't said it'll help our economy that I've ever heard is that bumbling idiot president we've got, who did an online town hall meeting and said that he thinks that legalization wouldn't be helpful for our economy. Pro me, growing the hemp myself in an off-grid situation? Yeah, fudge. Once I legalize it, you will be able to grow it for your own personal use. If you sell it, you'll need to pay a 25% tax. That's what we're hoping to generate money from the sale of the product. We don't want to kill the sale like they're doing in Washington State with 75% tax. We want to make sure that the sale goes through, so 25% is the most we would pull out for the federal government, and then we would disperse it to states on a per capita basis. Similar to my plan for a fuel tax, which is something we'll talk about later. Well, 25%, in Washington State, we're paying 75% right now. Hey, you may think it's cheap, we can negotiate it, but seriously, 75% is not going to help the growth or the sale of marijuana in the state of Washington. Yeah, shred hemp firewood blocks, exactly. So these are technologies that we can bring on that will really help our country. We will continue the current assistance in small ways, but I will trim the amount of Israeli funding that they get to 1/2 of what they get currently. I won't authorize projects like the current rocket defense system that Obama gave them $225 million recently. And Obama's already promised $70 billion to Israel. That's ridiculous. That's over the top. We cannot sustain that. This president of ours doesn't even understand the economy. He's never lived in reality. He's always been living in kind of a basketball star mentality where everything's handed to him. Okay, and what would this technology night be like without introduction to the blimp plane? Introducing the blimp plane. It'll take you from Los Angeles to New York in 10 hours. You'll be able to sit in a cabin with a bed. You'll sleep the whole trip if you want, and it'll cost you $100 each way. We're going to save so much fuel doing this with our aging infrastructure that we're going to be able to ultimately provide air travel into the future that is guaranteed to not crash. Every blimp will have 4 parachutes rigged on it, so even if we have one parachute fail, it's going to triangulate and save the plane, and most likely you'll survive. I'm hoping for 0% fatalities with the blimp plane. The idea is to use the aging infrastructure that's getting old and can't fly very fast to keep those jets going and keep them mechanically sound enough to go about 200 to 300 miles per hour. All right, great. And by the way, the infrastructure or the internal structure of that will be made out of carbon fiber. A matrix of carbon fiber with an outer Kevlar exterior. In case people are asking you, will it break down and blow up? No. It'll have such tight stitching that even if hit by a bullet or an RPG, it'll still stay together as the parachutes deploy. All right, this is technology that's way ahead of your time. It'll be probably 20 to 30 years from now, unless I implement it in 2017. Either way, enjoy. We will be talking to you about other technologies on another technology night, but I didn't even get a chance to talk about another idea that we have at America's Third Party, and I'm glad I have you here. We got a couple new ideas. One is a seawater pipeline that we developed at a website called the Ocean Pipeline Project, or oceanpipeline.com. Yes, you have to catch up on my technologies here. Ocean Pipeline uses passive desalination. No fossil fuel will be used. We'll be able to evaporate about 2 gallons of water into those side troughs on any good day. And these units, modules, stretched across areas around the country and around the world, will produce hundreds of thousands of gallons of fresh water per day, right out of the ocean. And then finally, one of our best ideas, I think, is a deployment of a vertical windmill on top of all telephone poles across the country. This is an original idea I came up with in 2008, which, if deployed, will create tremendous amounts of energy from the grid while it just sits there and collects at 5 miles per hour. All right, everyone, thanks for coming in. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow for Freedom Friday, where we talk about how our government seems to be forgetting the most important thing we have, our freedom, telling us that we have no privacy, telling me that I don't even have freedom of speech, calling me names. I mean, this is insane. We'll be taking on freedom issues tomorrow. And, of course, I do support gun rights. The right to bear arms is essential for our country, all of us, to defend ourselves from a tyrannical government if need be. We also need to defend ourselves against home invasions. I mean, it's illogical to think they're ever going to disarm America. So let's stand up for this, and let's fight these Democrats tooth and nail until we push them out of Congress. Thank you. And thank you for coming in and being a part of America's Third Party tonight. I'm going to be playing some videos tonight that were taken from all the new technology that's out there. This is a whole series of videos that will show you what's coming in the near future regarding green technology. Thank you for coming in.
The search for petroleum never ends. It goes on around the clock and around the globe. Yet as the world's population approaches 7 billion and more players enter the global economy, demand for fuel is growing at an unprecedented rate. If we do nothing, the cost of the fuel we need to heat our homes